overnight at his home in Utah.
His career as one of Hollywood's leading men spanned more than 6 decades, and his biggest films include Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, The Sting, The Way We Were, and The Natural.
I remember signing a contract to play ball, not to be put to sleep by some 2-bit carny hypnotist. I won't do that.
You're going down.
It took me a long time to get here, Pop. I won't do it. I can't.
He won an Oscar for directing 1980's Ordinary People. Redford was also an environmental activist and launched the Sundance Film Festival in the 80s. Robert Redford was 89.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Tyler Robinson's due in court later today to face murder and other charges in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
The alleged killer still, as far as we know, has not confessed to killing Charlie Kirk to law enforcement, but it appears that hours before turning himself in, that he did confess to a group of friends in an online chat. In those messages obtained by the Washington Post to a group of about 30 people, the suspect allegedly said this: "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments."
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney at the Utah County Jail this hour. FBI Director Kash Patel will face questions at a Senate hearing about the Kirk assassination investigation. We've also heard this morning from Attorney General Pam Bondi following some reactions on the left celebrating the murder of Kirk, a conservative activist.
Attorney General Bondi writes in a social media post, "Hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. It's a crime. For far too long, we've watched the radical left normalize threats, call for assassinations, and cheer on political violence. That era is over."
That's Fox's Chris Foster. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You might wonder, will it ever rain again? Right now, mostly cloudy, 64 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 9:02. The next chances for rain across Indiana will not come until this weekend. As for what's going on in the meantime,
we're going to continue to see above normal temperatures with highs from today through Friday in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says there's a higher chance for fires starting in some parts of the state due to warm conditions and the lack of rain. $3.11 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says AAA. That's down a few cents from a week ago and 8 cents less than the national average. A family in Noblesville is in a dispute with their homeowners association over the construction of a ramp for their paralyzed teenage son. The family believes the ramp is essential for their son's mobility, but the HOA has raised concerns about the design. Both parties are working towards finding a compromise, but the family's priority remains ensuring their son's independence and that he has freedom of movement. The ACLU of Indiana is suing Indiana State University, claiming the school wrongly cut off work-study funding for students at the Pride Center for Terre Haute. The Pride Center is a nonprofit that serves the LGBTQ plus community, and they say ISU ended federal work-study and Sycamore Community Work Program grants in August of 2024. The lawsuit says ISU's vice president for community engagement managed those funds. And the 0-2 Notre Dame Fighting Irish are in bad need of a win as they get ready to play Purdue this Saturday. Len Clark reports.
Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman says the Irish have to correct one major issue after an 0-2 start: consistency.
Consistency, I believe, is what wins or loses games when you have two good opponents competing against each other.
Freeman says breakdowns on defense, missed chances in the red zone, and miscues on special teams have proven costly. He added that accountability starts with him, but extends to the entire program. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And with traffic at 9:04, here's Matt Baer.
All right, John, here it is. It stopped on the northwest side because of a crash. It's northbound 465 at 865. Two left lanes are blocked, leaving only the right lane available for travel. And right now, we are stopped back to West 79th Street, a delay time of 26 minutes. South side northbound 65 delayed 7 minutes after Keystone Avenue up to the south split. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code radio for an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me: cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaim their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to qckinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny skies, very warm and quiet this afternoon, a high of 87. Mostly clear skies overnight and comfortably cool, low down to 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 9:06, time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
There is no plan.
Are you sure about that?
No, there's no other way you can interpret that interview this morning than there is no plan on how to handle economic development in the state of Indiana.
So Governor Mike Braun was on this morning on WIBC, and he was talking about a lot of things, but one of them was data centers. And we're going to have a big conversation about that later this morning.
It's actually going to be, I'm so excited for this. So coming up 10 o'clock, James Briggs and Jacob Stewart are the columnists for Indy Star, and they have written incredibly different opinion pieces on this proposed Google data center in Franklin Township, which we'll get to that in a second because, look, legalized bribery is such a strong word, Casey. Anyway, they're going to go back and forth at each other on these airwaves on some of the stuff they said in their columns about these.
Express their opposing views.
Yeah, about these data centers. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. But first, so Braun, the governor, went on with Tony Katz this morning, and I could spend the whole hour talking about the interview, but one of the things that you realize is there is no coherent strategy for economic development in the state of Indiana, and that's why we get such bad economic development policy. There is no concrete, or at least publicly espoused concrete, here's what we're trying to do, here's what we're trying to accomplish, here's how we're going to do it. And one of the things, and this is totally from a local level, when I was a local elected official in our community, when I got elected, the economic development policy was like the Wild West. Like they were just basically whatever the Economic Development Commission wanted to do, and then they would kind of just dare the council, who is a bunch of largely uninformed people, to veto the decision they made. And I said, this is ridiculous. I said, there is no reason for a lack of coherency or a lack of a coherent, streamlined policy that when someone comes to your community, here's what we have available. We're not budging off of this. If you like it, great. If you don't, you can go somewhere else. And the reality is, if you create a tax climate that is beneficial to everyone, the people will want to come here. The businesses should want to come here. But what we have instead, and that's what we did, we said, look, we're going to cut the tax rate across the board for everybody. We're going to have a lowered tax rate for every single person, and that is going to be the incentive driver for you to want to come here. If you're a business, you'll be under the 3% cap, regardless if you're a megacorp or a mom and pop business, whatever you are, and that worked. The problem is, in the state of Indiana and in many of these communities, they just pick winners and losers. They say, we like you, so we're going to roll out, or whatever you offer, whatever we think you bring to the table. So we're going to roll out all these special incentives, and we're going to do it through a shadow quasi-government operation, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, where it'll take the media and government watchdogs months, if not years, to figure out what we've exactly offered.
To unscramble these eggs, right?
Right. And so if we like you, we'll give you hundreds of millions of dollars in incentives. If we don't, you get nothing. But nobody knows what this is actually all about or what they're trying to accomplish. And Mike Braun, even by his own standards, Casey, even by the very low bar that Governor Dementia Patient has set for himself, he may have hopped. This may be the all-time most stupid thing I've ever heard an elected official say out loud, in which he basically told Tony Katz, I don't care what the development is.
Just bring it.
Just listen to this.
Indiana is going to take it carefully. When there's something new like this, I'm going to measure it based upon what I told you. It's not a categorical yes or no. We want to be open for business to anyone that wants to come here and invest.
Pause. No, you don't. If that's the case, then why don't we have dispensaries, marijuana dispensaries on every corner?
Good point.
Clearly, you don't want to be open to every single business because you have if the issue is money, if the issue is a lack of revenue, you have hundreds of millions of dollars at your disposal, which is repeatedly rejected. Why? Because big pharma in this state, who gives to all of these politicians disgusting amounts to these politicians.
They don't want it.
Doesn't want any part of it.
Sure.
So, bull. Governor Dementia Patient, once again, either lied out of his ass or he's suffering from a serious head injury where he doesn't understand what's going on. Go.
If it's going to have impact that's not along with high-paying jobs, you got to abate many of these out of the gate to where they don't even get the benefit of local property tax revenue. It's got to be more balanced than what's come out of the gate. Of course, we want any investment to come here.
Pause. No, you don't. No, you don't. People, the public sentiment is overwhelmingly in support, certainly of medical marijuana, certainly at the very least. But the public sentiment poll after poll has showed full legalization. It's a slam dunk. Politicians never turn away from that sort of policy with that sort of approval rating, unless there's a large group of donors and special interests who don't want it.
Right.
So don't tell me you're for all economic development. But if you are, that's even more asinine than you're not.
Well, you talked about any high-paying jobs. These data centers, they're not offering multitudes of high-paying jobs.
Right. And the problem is your Economic Development Corporation, Mr. Braun, when the previous board voluntold themselves out the door, and then you brought all your own people in, the first action they took, Kev, can you rewind like 10 seconds on that where he's talking about the data centers and the problems with the data centers. We're talking about the abatements, et cetera.
You got to abate many of these out of the gate to where they don't even get the benefit of local property tax revenue. It's got to be more balanced than what's come out of the gate.
Okay, pause. The problem with that, Mr. Braun, Governor Dementia Patient, is your Economic Development Corporation, who you just appointed the board, their very first action was hundreds of millions of dollars in incentives for these data centers. How do you, on one hand, lay out, which he's right, what he's saying there? The problem is his mouth is writing a check, his actions don't cash. And I'm always made out to be the crazy one. I'm always made out to be the bad guy here, Casey. Kev, okay, go ahead, play the end of it. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Of course, we want any investment to come here, but not if it's going to do things that have unintended consequences or doesn't make sense for local rule in terms of what local government wants to do and the citizens that raise their voice one way or the other.
Okay.
He's only pointing out what local government wants. What about what the people of the state want? What about all the energy consumption? What about the water usage? What about the character of the state?
Right.
Not paying attention to those things.
And what he's not addressing or refusing to address, or he's so uninformed about his own policies, is they would not be coming here just based on a local property tax abatement. They would not be doing that. That's part of the equation. They're getting those, which is a huge incentive. They're coming here based on real money or real abatement coming from the state of Indiana. You, Mr. Braun, are facilitating. You, Mr. Braun, your Indiana Economic Development Corporation is facilitating these people coming here. If you were not giving that away, which you can't blame that on Holcomb anymore because your people just did this. Your people, 4 of them, gave the incentives away. So that's now on you. You are legalized bribery, right? These people to come here. We will give you this stuff to come here. So you can't lament the process when you have just done the process. All right, real quick, I want to play this because Kev was pulling audio like a madman this morning. He also was talking about this consumer advocate that is lobbying, now in charge of lobbying on behalf of the consumer. So us, the ratepayers.
Abby Gray is her name.
Right. She was just appointed to this position. And she has come out, she being Abby Gray, the new consumer advocate, has come out forcefully against the AES proposed rate increase and is arguing that their rate should actually be lowered, not just veto the rate increase, but actually lower the rates. Here's what he had to say about her.
So Abby Gray is a new counselor for consumers when it comes to the ratepayer side of the discussion. She's got a lot of experience in it, and that, in her analysis, I think was what she thought. She's in a position of independence there, that rate hikes have been too commonplace without taking the other side of the equation into consideration. So her recommendation, it's not a small decrease, but it is one, and I think it's mostly to show that, hey, you're not a juggernaut that gets everything you want without discussion, and yet we need electric generation with the new demand out there for it. Demand for electricity was flat as a pancake. We only produced 20 gigs in our entire state.
Okay, but I want to make sure I get to this before we get to the break. The demand is because of you and the government, Mr. Braun. You are creating this by giving people money to come here, Mr. Braun.
Yeah.
You are doing this. The state government is doing this.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that the government just created a problem and then rose their hand and said, we know how to solve the problem that we created?
And the other problem, Mr. Braun, you have proven yourself repeatedly unwilling to stand up to the Indiana General Assembly. And so when you have glorified mafia figures like Ed Soliday, state rep who's in charge of utilities, who's strong-arming local mayors. We had that, was it Portage? Was that where the mayor was from, that Austin Bonta
Over a
guy?
steak dinner.
You know, he was strong-arming him, basically saying, if you speak out against the IURC again, I'm going to do what I can, or these rate increases again, I'm going to do what I can to make sure your city doesn't get any increased funding. Well, if Mr. Braun, if you're not willing to stand up to the General Assembly, which you've said very specifically during the property tax debate, and very specifically as it relates to redistricting, you're not willing to do that, then why would anybody believe anything you say? Oh, and by the way, Abby Gray, the consumer advocate, she doesn't matter. You know who matters? The IURC. And you're controlling the new appointments. And if you don't want any more rate increases, you could very specifically say to anybody interviewing for that position, how do you feel about rate increases? If the answer is yes, they're out. You control everything. He acts like he's an innocent victim in all of this, and that was so gross what he said on Tony's show this morning.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Are you ready to build your custom dream home? Joyner Homes is ready to make your dream come true. Over 18 years, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, have built hundreds of homes in central Indiana, and the best place to start is JoynerHomes.com. That's where you'll find pricing, photos of completed Joyner homes to inspire you, available home sites, and info on where you can visit their model homes, and a lot more. Be sure to check out Joyner Homes' 5-star Google reviews. Get started today at JoynerHomes.com.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like the Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S., Z-Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $4,500. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
At Duke Energy, we're making Indiana's energy grid stronger and more resilient, ready for storms and growing energy demands. We're adding more power to the Indiana grid. We're using new innovations and smart technology to restore outages faster. And we're doing it all in cost-efficient ways to keep bills as low as possible while we serve you with reliable energy. Duke Energy, building a smarter energy future. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com. Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Heat and cool your man cave, attic, garage, or bonus room without adding ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric ductless mini splits.
To find out more, just go to absolutecomfort.org.
Okay, you cannot expect, this is true in all facets of life.
Yeah.
If you're going to poke a big bear, think the big bear ain't going to strike back eventually.
Right.
As someone who's spent their entire adult life poking various sized bears, you just got to accept that when you anger someone of power or of influence or whatever, that they are going to do everything in their power to crush you. And sadly, I think our farmers are paying for what Donald Trump is doing in the trade wars.
Yeah, let's be specific. We're talking about soybean farmers. You've seen soybean fields here in Indiana,
There's
haven't
fewer
you?
and fewer of them, Casey. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're entering harvest season, and they're going to be struggling because the largest buyer of soybeans is who?
China.
Correct. Yeah. And guess what? China does not want American soybeans right now because of the tariffs.
Yeah, so this is where we talk about, and we come back to the thing with Elon Musk to go full circle with the Doge. When Musk came in, and we had Mitch Daniels on and talked with him about this, about how he reformed the state of Indiana, just because your cause is worthy doesn't mean you're going about it in a worthy fashion. And what I mean by that is humans generally tend to consume bad news better in incremental amounts. Now, me, it's like I crave conflict. So if you got something wrong with me, you just put it out there, big boy.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
And let's just have it out and be done with it. But most people, you get more what's the saying? You get more flies with
honey
than you do vinegar, bees, or whatever the saying is, right? And in the terms of the government reforms, doesn't mean all that stuff didn't need to be taken care of, but you would have been far more effective showing people small victories and over time building up so that people can get used to the idea. They can understand, okay, they took that away. Look, it turns out we didn't need it. And then you build, which is what Mitch Daniels did in the state of Indiana when he was in the process of governmental reform. The same thing is true with the tariffs, in which you didn't get in this mess overnight, and trying to get out of it overnight, one, it recoils portions of the public who are going to be paying more for things. We've seen the prices of things continuing to increase, even though Donald Trump ran on inflation. But it also alienates the people that you are doing business with who do have leverage over you. We act like we have become so dependent on China for so many things, or some of these other countries, but especially China, that you thought there wasn't going to be any blowback, there wasn't going to be any pushback, and now China is executing their leverage that they have, which they're always going to do anyway. But incrementalism and building this up as a 10-year plan or whatever would have been a far better process in my mind than this, because now you're seeing industries that are going to be directly impacted and in a major way.
Yeah, so China historically was the largest buyer of U.S. soybeans, and now they're sourcing them from South America instead. 30% of the soybean crop is typically exported, with China being the main destination. And now we're going to be dependent on smaller markets like Japan and South Korea and even Colombia. And the $10 per bushel last year, it's cut down to around $8.80 this year, cutting into the farmers' profits. But here's the thing to consider. In the 24 election, Donald Trump won about 78% of the votes from farming-dependent counties. And now are they questioning that decision because it's directly affecting them?
Well, look, if you're going to enter the world economy, you have to accept there's going to be intense ramifications if you try to strong arm. And I'm not saying China doesn't need to be put in its place, but you cannot, if you're going to try to do it all in one swipe, expect that there's not going to be some pretty serious ramifications for doing that. It's true with any facet of your existence. And that's why from the beginning, whether it was Doge or whether it was the tariffs, I have advocated for a more measured long-term approach that will, over time, solve the issue, but without, hopefully, the sort of blowback that we're about to see on things like farmers being able to sell their soybeans to other countries.
It's not only affecting this year, though. You have to consider what this is doing long term, because young farmers are the most who are at risk because they lack the net worth and working capital that older farmers have to sustain them through the hard times, the financial strain. It's making it really tough for them. So, I mean, bankruptcy filings among farmers have soared in 2025.
You just hit it out of the park with that, Casey. And because what you're seeing is a new generation of people taking over these long-held family farms who, between the property taxes, which weren't addressed in the property tax bill with any sort of viability, and things like this, they just simply say, well, I could just sell this and make it a housing development.
Or put a data center there.
Right, exactly. So, like, all of these things are at play, and when you keep making it harder for people to make money in a profession, they're going to just leave the profession, and farming is absolutely no different. And all right, let's take a break. We were going to get into the Franklin Township Google data center this segment, but I didn't feel like we had enough time. So as Well, you know what the least favorite part of every show is. And I think we're seeing something play out, Casey. We'll talk about it when we come back.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
People think slavery ended long ago. But what if I told you it's worse than ever? Human trafficking is an epidemic, stealing lives in plain sight. Into the darkness, God raised up Project Rescue, bringing light, healing, and hope. Every year, Life Church partners with the Lucas family to host the Hope Starts Here breakfast for business partners with the gift of giving who want to make a difference. Join us Thursday, September 18th at Lucas Estates and see what happens when Hoosiers stand united against evil. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You probably saw him in a movie or two. Right now, mostly cloudy, 66 on Monument Circle with a clear radar. I'm John Herrick. This report is brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 9:31. Actor turned director Robert Redford has died. His publicist confirmed that this morning. Redford died at his home in Utah, surrounded by loved ones at the age of 89. You might remember this clip featuring Redford from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Can I move?
Move? What the hell you mean move?
Better when I move.
Some of his other acting credits include All the President's Men, The Natural, Indecent Proposal, and more recently, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. A man from San Diego is pleading guilty to illegally landing a small plane on a Navy airstrip on San Clemente Island. Andrew White entered his plea in federal court in Los Angeles Monday. He admitted to one felony count of theft of government property in excess of $1,000 and one misdemeanor count of illegal entry into a naval installation. Monday Night Football doubleheader. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers rallying for a 20-19 win over the Houston Texans, while the Los Angeles Chargers made easy work of the Las Vegas Raiders 20-9. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert says it's all about keeping things in perspective.
It's 1 week at a time for us. You know, it's that's the way you got to play this game. You can't look too far ahead, and you can't look in the past. And you know, we're going to watch film on this one, you know, and move on to our next opponent.
The Texans now are 0-2. They're in the same division as the Indianapolis Colts, which is the AFC South, and the Colts lead that division with a record of 2-0. And your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. So far, the Dow is down 62 points at 46,200, but the S&P 500 is up 5 points to 6684. The NASDAQ is also up 48 points to 24,598. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll talk with an oncologist within 48 hours of your diagnosis, so you won't have to wait to start finding answers.
They got me in pretty quickly to meet my team. They gave me the plan and what they knew and what they wanted to do. I was really impressed with the care team and the approach they took.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T.
The testosterone booster?
Yes, it really works. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with Nugenix Total T, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference in the bedroom. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text HEFTY to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's HEFTY to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement?
You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years. Here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000, right?
That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in that first year. So by year's end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Reinhardt Heating and Cooling? Well, find that American Standard dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Okay, we're going to get to this Google stuff with Franklin Township, but things keep happening that get in our way. And the big news that is just breaking is that Robert Redford has passed away at the age of 89. Now, before we get into him real quick, what I find fascinating is, the announcement just came down.
Yeah.
And already there's just website after website after website with very detailed bios. And so you obviously spend a lot of time in the entertainment industry or on the TV side of things. Do they just have these things in the can for older people?
Sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Carl sang Carl spent time in Hollywood. He knows. Carl said, Tony's producer said, yes, they do have just these. That's kind of morbid, isn't it?
It is.
Hey, he's getting old. We think he's going to kick the bucket soon. Get that bio on ice.
Well, when they get older and they haven't put out new work, it's not like they have to keep them updated. Once they make it once, maybe just one or two bullet points.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got to keep putting out new. I got to keep putting out new things. Right. So they have to keep updating my bio.
Don't fade away, right? Robert Redford, golden boy, good looks. And, of course, he was the founder of the Sundance Film Festival as well, iconic movie star. And many people would consider Brad Pitt the current Robert Redford.
Yeah, and you think about from the late 60s well into the 1970s, he was just on such a run there. So it started kind of with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, The Way We Were, All the President's Men, and then, and sports fans will remember him from The Natural. He was in The Legend of Bagger Vance later in life. I mean, the guy had a ton of mega hits as a movie star, and then as a director, he was highly successful as well.
Well, and he was a champion of independent films, obviously with Sundance. So I think that there are some big names that could credit their success to him, like Quentin Tarantino and the Coen brothers and Steve Soderbergh as well.
I was reading, because like I said, all of these websites have bios, and I sometimes enjoy when somebody's passed away just comparing biographies, like how did one website write it versus another, and reading how did you paint this person's life versus compared to, because let's face it, it's really an individual working for these organizations that are putting these things together. And on the NPR one, I thought this was interesting. At the very end of the article, they were talking about his sort of how, compared to certainly other celebrities, he lived a relatively laid back, private existence. And while he was a liberal, I don't think he was overly bombastic or flamboyant in his approach to politics. And I was reading this quote from him about the sort of lifestyle and his thoughts on people's sort of fascination with celebrities. And he said this, and I think this is spot on. He said, quote, I think that people should be paying a lot more attention to issues rather than who's the top 10 this or the top 5 or who's the sexiest or the most beautiful or this or that. And I think that's absolutely right, in the sense of people get so fascinated with things that mean absolutely nothing and spend all this time on things that in no way affect their actual existence, and then won't put the least bit of effort or time into things that have dramatic impact on your life every single day.
On your daily life. Let's talk about some of his movies, can we? All the President's Men. 1976, he played Bob Woodward, political thriller about the Watergate scandal. Did you ever watch that one?
Oh, yes.
How about The Sting? He played Johnny Hooker, con artist. Of course, he co-starred with Paul Newman in that one. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Way We Were with Barbra Streisand, Ordinary People as well. And he was working, his entire life up until just recently.
All right. Before we get to the Google data center, I did want to point out you did something fabulous for me today. I'm holding these up on the YouTube chat. You can see this.
Yeah, this is really important stuff, Rob.
Casey has been for years bragging about her baking prowess, and I said,
well, you shamed me the other day. I mentioned it, and you said you never bring anything in for me.
well, yeah, you're totally invested in yourself, and
It's
never
for
share.
my family, but whatever.
And today, get over it, lady. It's you and your husband now.
Well, no, I baked a lot when he went to go see her in Baltimore.
For yourself?
Well, no, it was for them to take.
Oh, to take to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of who you claim to be doing it for, you're never doing it for me. And today you brought in some homemade cookies.
I did.
And I can say that these are fabulous cookies.
Oh, did you have one?
Oh, yes. And because I am a selfless individual, Kev, here, catch this, Kev. You may have one of those, as well as Caleb, who Kev is training.
Yeah.
Because that's what I am. I always try to share my life and my good fortune with the masses.
So the dude, Jim, did just tell me, my husband, he said that this batch of cookies wasn't as good as my last batch. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
This was kind of a Frankenstein batch. I mean, the recipe.
What does that mean? This was kind of
the recipe was fine, but I didn't have the exact amount of chocolate chips, but I had a little bit of leftover of the butterscotch chips.
Oh, I see.
So there's a couple butterscotch in with the chocolate chip. This is important stuff. I'm saving the world with these cookies,
Kev,
Rob.
Caleb, you guys be nice. Be nicer to Casey than her husband was.
Actually, saving my own mental health.
Wasn't your best work, woman, but we'll let it go this time.
That's what I do. I bake when I just need to
Kev,
focus
what do you
on
think?
something else.
It's very good. It's nice and soft,
Yeah.
and I think it's got the right amount of sugar in it.
Casey's
Perfect.
cookies right there. Maybe we're onto
new website.
something, right?
Very good.
Launch a new product.
Okay, let's take a break, and then we will get to the legalized bribery is such a strong word, but I don't know what else we would call it with Google trying to get this data center going
Wow,
in
there was
Franklin
big
Township.
news. I mean, the school district said, yeah, we're behind this.
Yes,
So
and
are we going to talk about it coming up?
We'll talk about why.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, updates on Charlie Kirk's assassination and the Attorney General Pam Bondi with the big blunder. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace too strict.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service.
Really?
Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 10/21/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intra-line applied via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data and service series. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Q1 to Q2 2025.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age. making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Of all the times to buy new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus, get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
Guys, it's game on at Synergen X and Low T Center, your TRT MVPs.
Book a free TRT consultation and automatically enter for a chance to win autographed sports memorabilia, tickets, and more. Female patients, you can win too. Book at trtmvp.com.
At Advent, nasal congestion and sinus infections can be solved with an in-office 20-minute procedure. Elsewhere, expect surgery.
Head online to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra Thursday, December 4th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Okay. If you have an e-gaming facility at your school system, I don't think you get to complain about lack of money.
Yeah, you're doing okay.
So I did not know this. The Franklin Township school system, I think it was their superintendent was on our news gathering partners at Wish TV earlier this year and was talking about an e-gaming facility that is now a part of the school system. And you hear that. And then when you like what I told you, they have not one but two football fields now in Brownsburg with the turf and the new bleachers and like 4 field house, the gym. Like you just look at this and go, you people are gross to ever, and I mean ever, talk about a lack of money or resources available to you. And yet the Franklin Township school system is trying to stab every one of their citizens in the back and cut some sort of deal with the devil. In this case, the devil is the Google and their dystopian data center, because they're claiming Senate Bill 1 is taking revenue away from them.
That's right. So the Franklin Township Community School Corporation, they announced their support for the Google data center project. Listen to this. They said, the state of Indiana has already recognized the strain on homeowners through the passage of SB1, which reduces property tax burdens for families. While that relief is important for residents, it provides no mechanism for schools to replace that revenue that is lost.
That was the premise of the whole thing. You people have too much money. You've taken too much for too long.
They go on to say, the only way a community can increase and expand that revenue stream is by bringing in commercial development. This project does exactly that.
Okay, here's the problem with all this. Number one, you have an e-gaming facility. An e-gaming facility. What? That's where kids play Nintendo games. Is that right? That's for kids to go play. Kev, you're the young person. That's an e-gaming facility. That's where they teach kids how to play Nintendo. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like, okay, so you have enough money to do that, but not enough money to do the basics of education without bringing in some dystopian data center that's going to make the utilities rich and drain the pockets of your tax base. Like, that is so offensive for them to allude to that. But this is the culture we have bred, Casey. We have created this by repeatedly allowing the public education system, unlike any other government entity, to use children as human shields to get whatever the people in charge, their grandiose desire of the day may be. We have created this environment in which this insanity, in which like the Mooresville superintendent can say, well, I'm going to have to shut off all the lights in Mooresville. Hey, the light's still on. Senate Bill 1 passed. Are the lights still on in Mooresville? Can someone let me know if the Mooresville school system still has their lights on at this point?
Right, somebody doing a drive by the school, let us know.
Now, in this case, if I could talk to this guy, the first thing I would ask him is, what revenue do you think you're going to be getting in the immediate future when you factor in all the freebies that are proposed to give away to these people being Google, from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and the abatement that your local government is going to give them. What is all this money? And are you so tight on how you've managed and spent your money that it's going to take a dystopian, lifeless, bland data center in order for you to be able to pay your bills? Is that what you're telling me about your financial management? Because I'm going to come back to the e-gaming center case. I don't think that's a sink or a science lab or a book. It's an e-gaming center. And so now Google has promised certain giveaways to the Franklin Township school system because they know this thing's going down. And there are 16 counselors on the Indianapolis City County Council who have said we're done with this. If they get 15, the thing gets voted down. And so now Google is scrambling. And what's the first thing they did?
Go to the schools.
They went to the school because they know that the schools, unlike any other government entity, will not hesitate to use a child as a human shield to get their desire. The people who run those school systems, not every school system, but many of them, just like we're seeing in Franklin Township, are gross, disgusting people.
Okay, so they're going to vote on that on September 22nd. And if approved, that facility will join Google's global network of nearly 24 data centers. I think we need to just back up for just 1 second and explain what data centers are. We're hearing this word. It's being thrown around. Heck, there's billboards outside of Chicago proclaiming how wonderful it is that the data centers are coming.
Great, go there. All of them. Go.
So what these are, they're secure warehouse-like facilities, and they house servers to process and store data. Email, video streaming, cloud storage, artificial intelligence. But another thing that they do is they play an important part in national security. So my question is not just the electricity and the water usage and changing up the character of the land here in Indiana. What is the plan for security of these data centers?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so coming up next segment, top of next hour, it's going to be a really fun segment. So James Briggs and Jacob Stewart, who are the columnists for the Indy Star, have vastly different views on this specific project, but I think also data centers in general. And they've written columns about this. And so we said, well, these guys are both friends of our show. We have them on our show. Why don't we have them in together? And we'll just, for once, people won't yell at me. They'll yell at each other. And we'll just sort of officiate the conversation. And so those guys are going to join us next segment because, look, this is a super important deal. And one of the arguments I think Briggs is going to make, which is true, which we have made on this program, is they're not going to go away. If Google in Franklin Township fails, it's not like Google is going to throw up their hands and go, well, I guess we're done. No, they're Google. They're one of those powerful corporations in the world with unlimited resources at their disposal. They're going to try to go somewhere else in central Indiana. And this is where I get very frustrated with this, because it would be one thing if these data centers, these companies came in and said, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to pay our full freight, we're going to pay our full responsibility, our personal property taxes, our real property taxes, all these things from the get-go. I would still have major concerns about the electrical use and the water use and how we would resolve that. But they don't. They come in with mass incentives from the taxpayers when they don't, there's no reason to give it to them. They need two things to operate. They need vast swaths of land, and they need water.
Well, and less than 1/3 of data centers actually track their water consumption.
Exactly my point. Indiana has the two things that these data centers crave, and they can't just go anywhere and get. Why we're giving these people a single incentive, an abatement, anything from the IDC, any of this stuff is beyond me, because they only can go so many places. They can't just go to Phoenix, Arizona, unless they have some private, water reserve or whatever they're looking for. They can't just go to New Mexico. Like there are certain things they have to have in order to operate, and they don't have it everywhere.
Right. One of the reasons that Indiana is so attractive for these data centers is because the cooler Midwest temperatures and also the proximity to the Great Lakes, which they say will reduce their need for cooling, energy intrusive cooling. But you have to consider the local governments are frequently signing non-disclosure agreements with these tech firms, which limits the public's knowledge of their energy and water use. They don't even want you to know how much they're using.
And let's face it, what are they doing here? What is Google doing? They're not getting their way. I think they're probably very surprised at not just the public pushback, but that the lawmakers, the city county councilors have listened and responded to that public pushback. So what are they doing? They're going to the school system. They're cutting some side deal with one individual government entity, not all the government entities, one individual government entity, and trying to say, can we strong arm 2 counselors out of this little press release that the Franklin Township school system sent out. Hey, by the way, speaking of which, we're going to have the Avon school superintendent on with us on Thursday.
We're going to talk about referendums.
That's going to be a fascinating conversation. I assume he knows what he's getting in for, but good on him for wanting to come on. All right, James Briggs, Jacob Stewart from IndyStar are going to be with us next to debate the Franklin Township Google data center. This is going to be fascinating.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
WindowNation.com for an incredible deal right now in September. You're going to save big this month. Buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 for free. No payments for 2 years. You won't have to deal with monthly payments, a down payment, or even any interest until 2027. I have Window Nation windows. They have brought the energy bills down in my house. My wife and I absolutely love our Window Nation windows.
Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all of their windows. So you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. And this deal, it's a good one. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Make no payments for 2 years. Nothing down, no payments. You don't have to deal with anything until 2027. 866-90-NATION. Call and talk to a rep. Schedule that free in-home estimate. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
There's just something special about late summer at Wilson Farm Market. The sweet corn's still crisp, the tomatoes are juicy, and the cucumbers taste just like the summer should. Stop by with the family, fill your basket with fresh produce, grab some hot, fresh fried chicken, pick up homemade jams, and select from hundreds of cheeses to make every meal something special. And don't forget that famous pretzel bread. It's always a hit at the dinner table. 20 minutes north of Carmel on 31 in Arcadia. Online at wilsonfarmmarket.com. That's wilsonfarmmarket.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, sunshine and lots of it this week. You'll hear when the next chances for rain are as well. A hearing on illegal immigrants and what it could mean for your wallet, and why a man from Terre Haute got arrested. Those stories and more after Fox News. You are listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, and it's now 10 o'clock.
President Trump is about to take off for London. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
My relationship is very good with the UK, and Charles, as you know, who's now king, is my friend.
The president also told reporters before leaving, as Israel ramps up the war with a ground offensive in Gaza City, Hamas will have hell to pay if this happens.
They put it out 2 days ago that they're going to use the hostages as human shields.
The president also praised FBI Director Kash Patel for the investigation that led to an arrest in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Patel just told a Senate hearing in this case.
We cannot do our job without the American public and credible reporting in the media. And that's why Tyler Robinson is in custody today.
Now, Robinson is due in court this afternoon to face murder and other charges in Charlie Kirk's assassination. The Washington Post reports he confessed to the killing in an online chat group. Now, the president is still trying to fire a Federal Reserve governor who remains on the job after court sided with Lisa Cook.
The Trump administration is appealing to the Supreme Court, a ruling from the U.S. District Court of Appeals in D.C. that blocks the president from immediately firing Lisa Cook from the Fed's Board of Governors. He announced last month he was firing Cook over allegations of mortgage fraud that she denies.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. For now, Cook can attend the Federal Reserve meeting starting this morning that's expected to lead to an interest rate cut tomorrow, something that the president has demanded. A Hollywood legend has died, Robert Redford.
Redford's PR firm releasing a statement saying he passed away in his sleep earlier this morning at his home in Utah, but did not provide a specific cause. As an actor, Redford starred in countless classics in the 60s and 70s, including The Great Gatsby, All the President's Men.
That's Fox's Carly Shimkus. Robert Redford was also an acclaimed director. He won an Oscar for Ordinary People, which came out in 1980. Robert Redford was 89 years old. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why there's an elevated fire risk. You've got a partly cloudy sky. It's 67 degrees in the Circle City with nothing on radar. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. The warm weather in Indiana is just part of the equation, according to Jason Puma. He's a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
Well, we haven't had a lot of rain lately, and these warm temperatures and combined with low relative humidities essentially are proving slightly enhanced fire danger conditions.
He says rain is not likely until this weekend, but even then the chances for heavy rain are not great. As for what you're paying at the gas pump, AAA says the average price for gas in Indiana is $3.10 a gallon. That's down about 5 cents from this time last week. A meeting scheduled for tomorrow will go over a funding request to help house illegal immigrants in the state. Johnette Cruz reports.
The Indiana Department of Correction is seeking a financial commitment from the state for a new federal partnership. The DOC is asking for nearly $16 million to prepare the Miami Correctional Facility to house federal immigration detainees. The request, which is on the State Budget Committee's agenda, will fund a series of upgrades and new acquisitions at the facility. The State Budget Committee is set to meet on Wednesday in Terre Haute to discuss the request, which is part of a larger plan to use up the 1,000 beds at the prison for immigration and law enforcement purposes. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Felony intimidation charges against a Terre Haute man because police say he made threats against a group on Facebook. WTHI TV says Tyrese Lawnberger was arrested for threatening to shoot up Pride Fest, which took place this past Saturday in Fairbanks Park. Lonberger admitted to making the post but claimed he was joking. He's due in court on Thursday. Leaders in Carmel say they're organizing a civility summit to address the rise of hate and negativity on social media and in the world. The goal of the summit is to find ways to accept and respect differing opinions in a civil manner. Former Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels will be one of the speakers at the summit, which aims to teach people how to approach disagreements civilly and bring those skills back to their communities. That summit is scheduled for September 26th and 27th at the Carmel Clay Library, and it's open to the public. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 10:04, Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, Booher, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC. Casey?
Yeah, Rob.
They decided to settle it like men.
Yes.
On the public airwaves.
That's right. This is going to be fantastic.
So this is going to be a really interesting segment. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. You know, we love our friends at the Indy Star, and we've had both James Briggs and Jacob Stewart, the columnists, on our program. And we took note last week that they had sort of dueling columns about the data center, the Google data center.
In Franklin Township.
Proposed Google's data center in Franklin Township. And I said, it's very interesting that two guys who are both friends of this program have very different views on the same project, and they work for the same company.
Yeah, opposing opinion pieces. And as we started off the show this morning, we were talking about how the Franklin Township Community Schools came out in support of the data center. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see what these guys have to say and what that adds to the conversation.
All right, so let's bring him in. First of all, you know him, friend of the Stars, Jacob Stewart, columnist, Indy Star. Hello.
Thanks for having me on.
And you know him also, pain in the backside to politicians everywhere, James Briggs. Hello.
Hello. Are we doing free speech here today, or is Todd Rokita listening in?
All right. So, Jacob, let's start with you, because you have come out with a lot of concerns about the data center. You don't think it's a good idea for Indianapolis, for the people of Franklin Township. Why?
Well, the biggest reason why is because it will be used to increase the electricity rates of homeowners all around the AES service territory. If AES builds any new power plant, they can pass on the cost of that power plant to consumers during construction. That's regardless of whether or not the data center ends up panning out, regardless of whether or not the power plant ends up panning out. So that's my number one concern. There's a bunch of other issues about water, usage, and environmental concerns. But that's my biggest one by far. And then, of course, the pretty massive tax abatements that they're getting, so they're not paying their fair share.
Okay, so hold on to that for a second. But before I bring James in, I want to touch on that, because the major supporters of a lot of these data centers across the state are these power companies, because somebody got to put the electricity to the thing, right? In this case, it's AES.
Correct. Yeah, so they're large load customers, so they take significant amounts of electricity. They're projected to more than double our electricity demand as a state. So that's a huge boon for AES, especially when you have a monopoly over their service territory like we have in Indiana. No one can sell power directly to consumers without going through a utility monopoly. And so they, like data centers, they probably would prefer to go through like an independent power company or something like that, or make their own power. But it's not really feasible to do so.
All right, James Briggs, you're usually a reasonable, well thought out human being, but in this case, you say these data center, especially the one in Franklin Township, going to be good for the city of Indianapolis. Why?
Yeah, well, a couple things here. One, these data centers are coming regardless of what Indianapolis decides. So it's not like the utility impact just stops at the county line. Like if Google just builds it somewhere else, then there's still a regional utility impact. And
so what you're saying is if you're going to pay for it, as long as Google gets it somewhere, if you're an AES person, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I mean, not 100% clear how that shakes out. And I think there's a lot of uncertainty, even if they build this in Franklin Township, I think there's some degree of uncertainty what that actually means for ratepayers. I think it's reasonable to be concerned about that, but I think it's also reasonable to say, look, data centers are going to be built. A lot of them are going to be built. They're going to be built all over Indiana, and some of them are going to affect AES customers regardless of what Indianapolis decides. So you might as well, in my view, just take the benefits, take whatever benefits you can get out of it.
If you're just joining us, it's a fascinating conversation. Jacob Stewart and James Briggs, columnists of Indy Star, they're settling their disagreements in their columns like men here on the public airwaves. We're talking about the data center, the proposed data center in Franklin Township, Google's data center, and two very different opinions on this. All right, so let's go back to what you said, Jacob, which is the abatements. And this is where I have heard the most amount of pushback from people, which is, why do they get all these incentives? And after we give them the incentives, what do they actually contribute? You've written about this. What have you found?
Right. So these abatements, they all started in 2019 with the state giving a tax abatement on around 50 years worth of electricity and equipment that these data centers are eligible for. That's what's made the state so attractive for these data centers.
But this is on top of the like property tax abatement.
Right, correct. So in addition to that, they can also get these property tax abatements, which is, it's pretty common for developments to get these. I tend to disagree with the developments in general getting these, but in this particular case, it seems even more egregious because of the impact on the people in the community. And because of this impact on ratepayers, and to James' point, there is another one planned in Monrovia, which is also in the AES service territory.
Yeah, we had that guy on our show, one of those guys on our show. They're not happy about that.
Right. So that's the only other one currently planned in the AES service territory. So if either one succeeds, more than likely it'll impact the AES ratepayers.
Okay, that's an interesting point, James Briggs. So you talked about, and I think I hate to say this out loud, but I think you make a decent point. Hey, if they're going to get it somewhere, they might as well get it in your place to get the benefit. But what is the financial benefit? Have you been able to figure out what that is? I think because a lot of people feel they don't see, with all the incentives, credits, whatever, an actual benefit to the communities.
Well, the Franklin Township school statement that you alluded to a moment ago, I think that's one sign of benefit. I mean, look at the tax base around that school district. I think it's like 86% residential. So they need money, and it's, residential property taxes obviously goes a long way toward funding schools, but certainly commercial property taxes can help that as well. And whatever the tax benefit is from the data centers, it's not zero, even with all of these outrageous incentives. That's one area Jacob and I agree that the incentives are just ridiculous at both the state and local level. But nonetheless, there still would be a substantial property tax benefit for schools and for the city itself. And right now, what's there, if you look at that site, it's like a lot of soybeans. Like there's not a lot of like tax benefits.
What you got to get soybeans, man? Fields are fine.
Yeah, soybeans are fine. They're probably also, I don't know that specific site, but probably also being subsidized by the government too in their own way. So,
James, I'm curious because when the Franklin Township Community School Corporation came out, they said that they like the commitment from Google because it's going to help address inequalities, and they're blaming the state's property tax reform bill on the financial stress from the school system. But isn't the tax abatement just going to contribute to that?
Well, I think I think Google has committed very specifically to the school district a certain amount of money. So I think the school district is especially happy with this arrangement because I think Google, there's a minimum commitment there. So I think the school district knows that it's going to receive a pretty substantial benefit. I don't know what they mean by resolving inequities there, but I think they're going to benefit certainly from it.
I wish they'd tell us about how much they're going to benefit.
Well, that's the point, right? We're always the last to know. If you're just joining us, James Briggs, columnist from the Indy Star, Jacob Stewart, columnist, Indy Star, we're having a fascinating conversation about this proposed Google data center in Franklin Township. whether you live in Franklin Township or not, this is a conversation for you because, as these guys have alluded to, even if it doesn't get approved there, they're coming somewhere. So maybe I need to cheer for it to go there because it'll end up in Brownsburg at some point. All right, so for both of you guys, let's lay out what a better process would look like. Like, what should, if we're going to have these data centers, or maybe, Jacob, you say under no circumstance should we have the data centers, what should the process look like? Should we say no more abatements? You know, what would it look like for you to say, hey, this becomes an acceptable thing?
Well, I'm a firm believer that the unit of government that sets the policy should bear the cost of it, and the federal government has been very clear that data centers are a national security asset, and they've said they're a priority, and building up the grid is a priority. So I think that the federal government should bear the cost of them, building up the electricity grid, making sure it doesn't pass on to consumers. So that could look like a variety of different things, maybe putting a specific tax on large load customers and using that taxes to build up the grid in some sort of subsidized way to avoid that passing on to consumers. Basically any way to get it out of the foothold of these utility monopolies, because ultimately they are the ones that are making it bad for the residents.
Briggs?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I also struggle with the incentives at the state and local level. I mean, I think that's not the only reason that tech companies would want to put data centers around here. One of them is Indiana's cheap land. I mean, that's probably why the Franklin Township site is so appealing. It's farmland right now, and there's an owner of that site that wants to sell it. And you know, if it doesn't turn into a data center, it's going to turn into something else down the road. So I don't think you necessarily need that level of incentives. These things need to get built. They need to go somewhere. I think Jacob's right. I think there should be some federal involvement in helping to support these things because they are important to national security and also just to the growth of tech, which we need to take some ownership of in the United States and not cede it to other nations. But Indiana has other reasons to sort of lure these things here, cheap land being, you know, chief and among them, perhaps. So I don't think we necessarily need to fight with every other state over these data centers.
All right, the big question before I let you guys go, and no blows have been thrown. Everyone is still in one piece. Jacob, I'll start with you. Will this, and bribery such a strong word, or legalized bribery such a strong word, with the incentives that have been kicked around to the Franklin Township schools, do you still believe this will go down next week when voted on by the Indianapolis City County Council?
I think as long as Michael Paul Hart stays committed to opposing it, it probably will still, get shot down. Because most of the counselors who have opposed it have cited his opposition as the primary reason for their opposition. Even ones that may not even be opposed to data centers in general. But it's supposedly the long-held tradition to just defer to the counselor in the district who's being impacted by the rezoning.
Briggs?
So I think in the past,
anything that starts with so,
in the past, I think Jacob would have a good point there. There's been a lot of historic deference to counselors in the district that they serve. If something's going in one district and the counselor doesn't like it, they just kill it. But if you'll remember way back to the whole Indy 11 Stadium MLS thing last year, when the council screwed over Indy 11 and Ursal, the counselor who represented the district where the Indy 11 Stadium was going to go opposed that, and this council said, whatever, we're doing it anyway. So I think that precedent has sort of been set. There's not as much deference as there used to be, and whenever you see a school district come out and say, hey, this would be good for us, I do think that provides an excuse for anyone who might be looking to walk back their previous opposition to this project to change their minds and have sort of a public face-saving reason to do so.
All right, James Briggs and Jacob Stewart of the Indy Star, thank you.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The state of Texas can require voter ID for mail-in ballots.
It's not required already.
But Joe Biden got 82 million legal votes, Nigel. If you think otherwise, you might as well put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I don't think it's asking too much to have some sort of proof that you're a legal citizen in your mail-in ballot. Find a way.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda Fishers.
Great lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
Whether you're a construction pro during the week or just want to work like one on weekends, Quality Supply and Tool is the place for you. Right now at all 4 locations, Indianapolis, Jeffersonville, Bloomington, and Lafayette, Quality Supply and Tool will save you $250 on Milwaukee's M18 Fuel 5-tool combo kit. And buy a select M18 Fuel impact wrench and get an M18 Red Lithium XC5 battery free. That's over $200 in savings. Price is good through November 2nd while supplies last. Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Okay, so who do you think won the great Indie Star debate we just aired here on this award-winning program?
You know who didn't win? The taxpayers.
Well, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. If you just missed it, we had a fascinating segment. James Briggs and Jacob Stewart are the columnists at Indie Star. They have very different views on data centers, the proposed Google mega center in Franklin Township, which is all everybody's talking about right now in central Indiana. And they went back and forth with us sort of facilitating the conversation. And I think you're right, Casey. I think the biggest issue is a complete lack of a clear picture on how these data centers benefit society in the long term.
Mm-hmm. I thought that Jacob brought up a really good, strong point in the fact that this actually goes to the level of national security, and federal dollars, which are still our dollars, need to be in play here.
But let's not act like that you're not talking about facilitating soup kitchens. You're talking Google in this case. One of the largest, they make, somebody told me, I have no idea if this is accurate or not, but somebody said they make something like $34 million an hour or some crazy number like that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, whatever the number is, Google makes an insane amount of money. What is the market cap of Google? Luckily, the internet is right at my fingertips. I'm going to use Google to look it up. Market cap Google. Let's see what it tells me. Come on here. Well, it should just tell me what the number is. Of course, it didn't tell me exactly what I wanted, but anyway, I'll look it up here. Give me just a second. I'll find the market cap for Google. It's got to be the hundreds of billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
But my point in all of this is, why are we facilitating that with our money? Why are we paying anything for these mega corporations to come and make a bunch of money without a clear indication on what they're actually doing for us.
And just last month, Indiana was labeled as being under a crisis of affordability in regards to utility rates. This by the Citizens Action Coalition. When you think about your energy costs, the prices, they're shaped by a lot of different things. You've got the chain of fuel suppliers, you've got the generators, the grid operators, the regulators, investors. It all adds up to different costs.
Want to guess what Google's market
is
cap is? This is according to Google, by the way, so if it's wrong.
It's their own.
$3.032 trillion.
Wow.
Is the Google market cap. That's
But yet they need abatements.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's absolutely unbelievable. It's the fourth most valuable company by market cap in the world. And we're led to believe that they can't function a data center without mass giveaways from poor and middle class people. By the way, the market cap in it's September. Okay. 10 years ago, September of 2015, the market cap was $4.2866 billion. So that means like 9 times, basically. Eight times it is
in a decade,
in the past decade. So I think that was the real takeaway, and I think Briggs, who tends to lean in favor of these things, agreed. You can't just be giving this stuff away to these people. That's what I think has people so enraged. One is the fear of what it's going to do to the utilities, and two, the fact that we keep giving our money away without any sort of clear explanation from the governor, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, even these local governments, how this thing pays off in the long run.
I thought that James Briggs did bring up a good point. If it's not Franklin Township, it's going to go somewhere.
Well, it is, which is why people need to take an interest in this. They are, as we said, least favorite part of every show, where we got to tell people how right we are. They're horror movie characters. They're Jason Voorhees. You have to think of these Google-type companies as a Jason Voorhees-type character, in which you can't kill it. No, you can bury it underground. You can light it on fire. You can chop it in half. You can put it at sea. Whatever. There's going to be another episode. And so if the Google Center, we see they're doing one in Monrovia. If this one fails here, they'll find some other central Indiana community. They're never going to stop because they can always outlast the populace, and they'll find some community that doesn't have the political strength or will to fight them.
But as you mentioned, it is going to affect utility costs for everybody. And as a whole, Indiana saw an average of a 17.5% increase in utility bills just last year.
Okay, I want to come back to the utilities in just a second because our old pal Jeff Thompson, the head of Ways and Means, you remember him? He's Mr. Property tax bill architect, man. He said, he made one of the dumbest quotes I've ever seen in print in the Indiana Capital Chronicle in an article that came out today. But first, before we do that, you were telling me something about what the leading pizza chain in America is. This blew my mind. I couldn't even believe this.
Well, I saw this article and I thought of you because you and I had a debate once about buying pizza at a gas station. And the title of the article was How Casey's Became One of America's Largest Pizza Chains. So convenience stores are typically regional. They have a strong regional following, like the East Coast favors Sheetz and Wawa, although Wawa is, making its step further into the Midwest. On the West Coast, they really favor 7-Eleven, but here in the Midwest, it's a mix of stores, but Casey's General Stores is rising to the third largest chain in the U.S., and of course, they sell a lot of pizza. They make their pizza fresh daily, and apparently it's very popular for its quality and affordability.
Is that because you can just get a couple slices of pizza and leave, so you're not forced to buy an entire
the whole
pizza?
pizza? Yeah, possibly. Also because it's made fresh daily and it's affordable.
That I could not believe when you told me how popular Casey's Pizza. And now that I think it through, though, the idea that you can buy, I don't even know how their pricing works, but a couple pieces at a time, eat what you want, and then go.
Since September of 2020, their stock has increased by over 190%. And they're doing this by buying up smaller stores. They're acquiring their competitors, and they're continuing to expand into Alabama and also Florida, and they're increasing their presence in Texas. And it's just, the competition is just becoming more intense, and that is how Casey's General Store has become one of the biggest pizza suppliers.
That's crazy. All right, we take a break. When we come back, I have to read you this quote from Jeff Thompson, the head of Ways and Means, which means he controls the money in the state of Indiana. You want to know why our finances are in the position we're in? You want to know why they can't balance a budget without raising taxes? You want to know why the tax increases never stop in this state? I will give it all to you in one quote when we come back.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me, cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaim their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to qckinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A New York judge is throwing out a first-degree murder charge against Luigi Mangione. A partly cloudy sky, 71 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. I'm John Herrick. This report is brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Mangione's accused of killing the United Healthcare CEO, but the judge says the evidence provided to the grand jury was not sufficient to support the state charge of murder as a crime of terrorism. However, the judge will not dismiss second-degree murder charges, which Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to. Mangione did appear in court today in shackles, but did not speak. The man accused of killing conservative commentator Charlie Kirk is supposed to be in court today.
We now know that before the shooting, the 22-year-old suspect told at least two people he hated and planned to kill Charlie Kirk. As far as we know, the accused shooter still has not confessed to law enforcement, but it appears that just hours before turning himself in, he did confess to a group of around 30 friends online.
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney. Investigators say they're now looking to see if anybody else helped the accused shooter. And an actor you may know well has died.
Our enemies are your enemies, Nick.
The publicist of Robert Redford confirmed that he died today, surrounded by loved ones at his home in Utah. That clip is from the movie The Natural. Among his accomplishments were an Academy Award and 2 Golden Globe Awards. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's the strongest hearts that remind us to cherish the moments. It's the grandmas who made us sit up straighter, the grandpas who showed us old records, and the parents who were embarrassingly loud at our games. It's those hearts that are anything but ordinary. Caring for extraordinary hearts for decades, Franciscan Health knows heart care is more than just a name on a chart. It's somebody who shaped your whole life. Heal your heart today at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
98 years of quality and comfort with Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Since 1927, our family-owned store has been your trusted source for top brands like Lazy Boy, Flex Steel, Tempur-Pedic, and Smith Brothers. Hey, this is Spencer Thompson, and right now, during our 98th anniversary sale, save up to 50% off on furniture and mattresses, plus free delivery, interest-free financing, and extra discounts for cash. Hurry, sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-951-4279 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-951-4279. That's 800-951-4279. What do you have to lose? Call 800-951-4279. Again, 800-951-4279.
Heat and cool with nearly geothermal efficiency in places you can't fit ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric Ductless Mini Splits.
Just go to AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
Okay. Look, I'm not a life coach. I'm not an expert on senior citizen aging and how to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to issue just a observation.
Okay.
And people can do with this whatever they want, okay? It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. If anyone loves Governor Dementia Patient, stop letting him do interviews.
Oh, boy.
Stop letting Grandpa do interviews because every time he opens his mouth, he says something more ridiculous and unintentionally reveals what's actually going on, which that's the big thing. But this guy can't do it. I mean, it's great for our show. I guess I should say, if you want us to have endless amounts of content, then by all means, let Grandpa keep jibber-jabbering on public radio airwaves. But if you love him or want to protect what's left of his dignity, stop letting this guy talk.
Okay.
This is like, I cannot. This should be the lead story in the state of Indiana right now. So, Governor Dementia Patient, Braun, whatever we're calling him today.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we call him Governor Dementia Patient is because he consistently says things that are at odds with the facts. And we, knowing Mike Braun as a man of immense integrity, would never just knowingly or willfully lie to the populace over and over and over and over again. So the only logical reason...
He can't help it.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's suffering from some serious cognitive decline, which causes him to make statements that are inconsistent with the facts over and over and over and over again. So Governor Dementia Patient went on... Why are you laughing? It's not funny. The governor is clearly suffering from serious cognitive decline, Casey.
Okay.
It's not funny.
You're right.
This is very serious
stuff. I know.
Okay, so Governor Dementia Patient went on WOWO, that's the big talk station in Fort Wayne, and he basically let the cat out of the bag that he wants to do redistricting in November.
Yeah, he suggested a special legislative session in November to redraw Indiana's congressional maps.
Okay, so pause. So what he did by doing that is saying November is he let you know they already know what the map is going to be. They're just trying to get to yes on it. And he also lets you know that they have handpicked who they want to run. So when I tell you that if you're for this, you're for a rigged map that is going to give you two more Jefferson Shreves and Jennifer Ruth Green type people. Because the filing deadline to run for Congress in Indiana is early February. Who, other than the most connected, because they're going to change the districts, right? They're going to draw people in some districts and out of some districts. Who, other than the most connected people,
would be ready and prepared?
Yeah, the money and the resources.
Yeah.
Governor Dementia Patient said the quiet part out loud, which is everything we've been telling our audience, which is this is all rigged. This is why I'm against it. It's not about anything other than getting more of their cronies into the United States Congress. And it ain't going to be Thomas Massey type people. Just take the 7 people that are currently in office. Remember in the Captain Planet cartoon where they'd all put their rings together and they would form Captain Planet? Just take the 7 people and form a congressman out of that. You've got professional office hopper Aaron Houchin, gun grabber Shreve, Messmer, yapper Victoria Sparks, who I yap, and then does whatever the establishment tells her to do. Rudy Yakum, the new and less improved Marlon Stutzman. Like, just take them all as one person and put them together. That's what the Congress is going to look like. You think it's not going to be somebody that they don't know, they being the establishment knows who it is and will immediately get behind that person, but all sorts of money behind them.
Right, resources.
And he just admitted it out loud.
He said a November session is more ideal than waiting until the regular 26th legislative session in January due to, one, the congressional primary filing period beginning early in 26, and also the cost and complexity of delaying.
No reasonable person would be able to assemble what is necessary to win a congressional primary in 2 months. I have worked for a U.S. Senate campaign before. I've been around closely following Indiana politics and government for 15 years now. That is not how this works. You're talking having to raise probably well over $1 million. You're going to have to put a team of people together to cover, because they're going to have to gerrymander these districts now so that they're much bigger or oddly shaped than they were before, which means you're going to need more staff. Mm-hmm. There's no regular person who's going to be able to do that and to compete. So they already know what they're going to do or what they want to do, or he already has been informed, or Josh Kelly has already been informed as chief of staff. And there's a good chance they already know who the people are who would run in those districts. We were just proven correct again. These people are the worst.
Many times, a district will cut a county right in half. But he said he wants the legislature to lead the process, not be forced into it. And he said he believes lawmakers are warming up to the idea. Eventually, we'll get there, and we'll get back to that in just a second. But he warned of consequences for Indiana's GOP if the state delays. He said, we'll have consequences of not working with the Trump administration as tightly as we should. Federal dollars, that's what we're talking about.
So, Casey, what are you if you give your body away for money? Like if someone hands you money.
Mm-hmm. A person of ill repute.
No. What are you? What are you? If I hand you money and you engage in acts of a sexual nature for that money, what are you?
A prostitute.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mike Braun is admitting.
Which I am not.
No, I'm not implying you. I'm saying Mike Braun is admitting Indiana is a prostitute to the Trump administration. Not standing up and being accountable to you, because they've all admitted the maps are fine. Andrew Ireland admitted when he was on this show. Braun essentially admitted when he's on with Hammer and Nigel. They've all admitted there's no problem with the electoral process in Indiana. There's nothing that needs to be changed about our maps. There's not some thing we drew and said, oh my gosh, we totally screwed up our maps. They're admitting we're doing this solely for political purposes. And now Braun is admitting, Governor Dementia Patient is saying it out loud, that I'm doing it because I'm a prostitute to the Trump administration. I don't give a damn about you at all, and I'm so worried. And by the way, this tells you a lot about Donald Trump, doesn't it? It tells you a lot about the people in the Trump administration, that they have clearly leveraged, because he wouldn't make that statement unless the threat was made, which, by the way, wasn't there a radio program weeks ago that said that was the push, that people from the Trump administration were threatening the state of India? Hey, if that was your radio show, raise your hand. Oh, that's us. That's us. We were told this weeks ago that this is the threat from the Trump administration. Is that they are going to take away money. Now, they won't. Who are they going to give it to? California? What does that even mean, they're going to take away money? But they believe these people are so weak in the General Assembly that they will do whatever they're told to do. And Governor Dementia Patient, because he can't keep his fat mouth shut, not only has now admitted essentially that they already know what the map is and they know who's going to run, but he's also admitting that he's doing it because he's a prostitute to the Trump administration, and he, just like the rest of these Republicans, despite all their huffing and puffing, are addicted to federal money.
So the Senate Republicans, they had a closed-door caucus last week, and some of them met virtually and in person, some of the House Republicans. And you do have some of the lawmakers that are shifting. For example, Representative Jim Lucas, he changed from opposing to supporting. He went from a hard no to a hell yes.
Wait, time out. Now, Jim Lucas, now he is the lawmaker who drove drunk
Yes.
Blew through the barricade, fled the scene, hit his automobile, and then got cute with the cops when they caught up to him and tried to question him. That Jim Lucas.
Correct.
Just want to make sure we were talking about the same Jim Lucas who had done that. I didn't know if there was a second Jim Lucas in the General Assembly. I just wanted to make sure that we had the right Jim Lucas.
So he put out a big statement on September 11th, so 5 days ago. And when he switched from being a hard no to a hell yes, we thought maybe it was just an emotional response to the assassination
No, he's a dumbass.
of Charlie Kirk.
He's a dumbass.
But he attributed it to his current stay in surgery he had at the Indiana Spine Hospital.
What did him having surgery have to do with rigging the election maps in favor of getting another Jefferson Shreve and Jennifer Ruth Green type person?
He said if the Dems take control of the House midterm, places like this, and he's referring to the Indiana Spine Hospital, he said places like this might go under. And the rest of Trump's reforms in healthcare, energy costs, border control, immigration, and voter reform, etc., will be dead in the water.
Whoa. What does rigging the election map have to do
with energy costs?
With the spine hospital going out of business?
He said reforms in healthcare.
No. Am I missing something? I mean, I get it's our regular dumbass of the day winner, Jim Lucas, making the statement. But am I missing something obvious about how if we don't further rig the maps to get two more Jefferson Shreve, Jennifer Ruth Green type people, that somehow the spine hospital...
He said the hospital determines his best interests. They get to take their time with the patients and have enough time to even tell jokes. And they've thoroughly discussed the wanton destruction Obamacare and insurance companies have wrought upon the entire healthcare system.
Okay. I mean, look, these are your lawmakers, right? These are the people that represent you. It's just one lie after another. Braun, lie, 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 lie. Lucas, lie, 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 lie. Pick your favorite one. Craig Haggard went on this radio show and told us our maps were great, told us how good the maps were, told us he was against redistricting. None of it matters.
I think the most important thing to take away is that Braun warned of consequences. We'll have consequences of not working with the Trump administration as tightly as we should. So only the governor can call a special session, and it's going to be a cost around $250,000 to $350,000.
So, but here's the, and I know we got to get to break because Hammer's going to come on, but the problem is, look at all the people that are still, it's some bizarre mental pretzel thing, twisting themselves into somehow we're going to do this for Charlie Kirk, right? They'll utilize whatever they have to. Nothing will get any better. Nothing will change. And yet the same people who get lied to over and over and over and over again and will be the first people to whine and to complain when the Republicans screw them again, like they always screw them, are doing this bizarre mental pretzel twisting thing to justify putting more of these people in power. What does it ever get you? I will ask you to ask yourself this over the course of today. What does repeatedly, whether it's the state House, the state Senate, the governor's office, the U.S. Congress, the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, what does any of this ever get you? How does your life ever get any better by repeatedly listening to these people and going along with their little scams and schemes?
Hammer's going to join us next on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. The biggest stories in Indy. Trump taking on crime in Memphis. And we're going to have some laughs today, too. 93 WIBC.
What's up, Indy? Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Now is the best time of the year to buy new windows. Whether you have old, drafty windows or cheap builder-grade ones, September is the perfect month to protect your home from cooler weather. And right now, Window Nation is offering their most popular offer. Buy 2 replacement windows, get 2 for free. Plus, no interest, no monthly payments, no down payments for 2 years.
And did I mention their installation crews can replace a house full of windows in 1 day or less? With Window Nation, you get top quality windows from a trusted company, all at a reasonable price because they know replacing windows is an investment and they want to make it affordable for you. Don't miss Window Nation's most popular offer. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. And remember, you'll pay nothing for 2 years. Hurry, Indy, you need to hurry because this sale won't last forever. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to get that free quote.
Hey, guys, it's Rob for our friend Mark Deedle, one of the great Hoosiers who has ever lived, and he would love to take care of you. Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried with a challenging market you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dan and Casey in Indianapolis, do you have another husband named Dan, Casey, had to say about working with Mark Deedle. It was time to downsize, and we needed to sell our old house quickly at full value. Mark Deedle made it happen. We got our asking price in a few weeks without any repairs or an appraisal. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace too strict.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's. But that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com. Game day starts with the Colts Ultimate Tailgate. Join WIBC October 12th at 9:30 a.m. at the Slippery Noodle for drink specials, games, prizes, and all the pregame fun you can handle. Don't miss Indy's Game Day Kickoff Party. More details at WIBC.com.
Hey, did you see that Illinois IU line's up to 5.5?
At one sports book.
It don't matter. For the premise of our show, all I got to do is find one, and it just happens to be the one I use anyway.
And it's a legit one. It's not like it's Billy Bob's backyard sports book. FanDuel, for those who play on FanDuel's site, now has that game as 5.5, meaning IU is a 5.5-point favorite. Odds makers in Las Vegas, according to FanDuel, feel like IU will win by more than 5.5.
Now, that seems like a lot to me because, by the way, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob Casey's here. That's Jason Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel show. We have a sports betting podcast, which will come out later today.
And the game of the week is Illinois at Indiana. That's really where College Game Day should have been, I think, this week. They're down at Miami because Florida at Miami probably a couple weeks ago looked a lot better on the schedule than it did now because Florida stinks.
Yeah. What's your saying about Florida?
Their ass.
Yeah.
And I thought their quarterback would be better, DJ Lagway, but my goodness, it's like having Tony Katz back there right now. Like,
Oh, wow.
Seriously, would Tony Katz have played worse than DJ Lagway last week for Florida?
Well, that's a fair question.
Only if you put his cigar down.
Can you imagine? And wear shoes with the where the toes are.
There have been bigger quarterbacks before.
Covered.
Remember when Kentucky had the big fat guy Jared Lorenzen?
That's right.
The hefty lefty.
Yeah, the old hefty lefty. Okay, so but IU is giving Illinois 5, and I'm just gonna say it right now. I love the Illinois coach because he's an oddly shaped human. And then allegedly had a little tryst with
rumored.
Yeah,
with
allegedly.
Aaron Andrews back in the day.
Yeah, so put those two together, you've got a Superman on the sidelines. And so I'm all Illinois all the time. And look, I watched that Illinois Duke game. We got that right a couple weeks ago. I think Illinois is pretty good.
They are good. And again, this is the best game on the slate. If somebody were in a car crash like 5 years ago and they woke up from a coma, or make it 10 years ago because COVID year was weird, and you told them, hey, this weekend, Florida and Miami is going to be okay, but the real game is Illinois against Indiana, they would have looked at you like you were crazy. But other sportsbook, Rob, they had this game going the other direction. Like I saw Bet Rivers earlier today, it was down to just 4 from 4.5. So one book, FanDuel, went up the other way. Another sports book went the other way. This is what we say on our show all the time. Treat gambling like Black Friday shopping. You got to find the best deal. So if you're somebody that's going to pick Illinois, like maybe go with where Rob's going, FanDuel, because they've got the most points for you, 5.5, and the number's good.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that's going to be backing the Hoosiers, maybe take a look at Bet Rivers because it's only 4 as of this morning on that site. So
is IU good? I don't even know. I mean, you can't beat directional schools and know how good you are.
I think they're good. Yes, I think they're good. Are they great? Now that we don't know. We're going to find out maybe on Saturday because Illinois comes in here as a top 10 team in America.
I have a presentation for you.
Oh.
Casey had been bragging about her baking ability for years.
Wow.
She baked cookies yesterday, and they're fabulous. And so we saved you one because I'm a very giving person. Most people would have just eaten all the cookies, but I gave one to Caleb and to Kevin, and I'm giving one to you because you look like you need to put on a few pounds.
I see what you're trying to do, but the real reality is you didn't like her cookies. I'm not falling for this trick. Ouch. So you're trying to be nice to your coworker, but the real reality is, had you liked these, you would have ate every single one of them because I know you're poor and you don't have any money.
You know what I'm dealing with. You know what he's like on a normal basis when he gets hangry. Look out.
What are you doing today? What's going on?
This afternoon we will do a little caller roulette and some high-profile legal stuff going on this afternoon.
All right, thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. You know, it was, what's it been now? All the days, they just run together anymore. But it's been almost 5 years ago since I made the trip to We Grow Hair Indy. And look, I got to say, you know, I'm a happily married person, but if I weren't happily married, women would be throwing themselves at me. That's how good my hair looks, thanks to the fine folks at We Grow Hair Indy. All right, so here's what you do. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. You call them up. You say, I want to look as fabulous as Rob Kendall and have women throwing themselves at me the way they would at Rob Kendall if he weren't happily married. It's a totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Darren and the gang, top-notch individuals. They'll take a look at what you got going on. They'll make some suggestions, and then you take it from there. It is indeed that simple. So call today to schedule that totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. consultation. 317-522-2995, 317-522-2995. Check them out on the web, WeGrowHairIndy.com.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
Are you ready for the biggest boat and RV sale of the year? The 36th Annual Indianapolis Fall Boat and RV Show. 3 days of blowout clearance pricing at the Indiana State Fairgrounds September 19th through 21st. But it's not a show. A sale. For 3 days only, shop over 5 acres of new and used boats and RVs. And this year, we're in the new air-conditioned pavilion. If you don't buy here, you'll pay too much. Dealers are liquidating their inventories, and after Sunday, they're gone forever. The 36th Annual Indianapolis Fall Boat and RV Show. Save time and buy tickets at IndySportShow.com. Another Renfro production.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, why the Indiana Department of Corrections says they need millions of dollars. What Indiana's Governor Mike Braun is saying about the future of data centers in Indiana, and where Indiana's Lieutenant Governor is running into some opposition. Those stories and more coming up after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 11 o'clock.
Americans should thank the FBI. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Director Kash Patel told a Senate hearing this morning.
We are on track to have the lowest murder rate in modern American history.
And while he also touted the FBI's work arresting the suspected Charlie Kirk assassin 33 hours after the shooting last week, Democrats are critical of Patel. Senator Dick Durbin calls him a Trump partisan.
Director Patel has already inflicted untold damage on the FBI, putting our national security and public safety at risk.
Later today, Tyler Robinson will go to court to face charges in Kirk's killing.
Those charges are expected to include aggravated murder, which does bring the possibility of the death penalty.
Fox's Garrett Tenney at the Utah County Jail.
It appears that just hours before turning himself in, he did confess to a group of around 30 friends online. In messages obtained by the Washington Post from an online group chat, the suspect allegedly said, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday."
Referring to where Kirk was shot, Utah Valley University. Now an update on the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
A big win for Luigi Mangione, the judge dismissing 2 state terrorism charges, but the murder count and weapons charge against him will remain.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court in New York City, where some Mangione supporters rallied, calling him a hero. He's also facing a federal murder charge. President Trump's flying to Britain for a 3-day visit, telling reporters he's closely watching Israel's new offensive going into Gaza City.
Here, Hamas is trying to use the old human shield deal, and if they do that, they're going to be in big trouble.
The president also reacted to actor Robert Redford's death, saying he was great. For a few years, there was nobody better.
Get away from me. Why? I want to fight him. He'll kill us. Maybe.
That's Redford in one of his iconic roles in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Redford also starred in The Way We Were, The Natural, and All the President's Men. He won an Oscar as a director for Ordinary People. Redford died in his sleep overnight in Utah at the age of 89. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The threats that can come with the heat. All clear on your radar. 68 degrees on Monument Circle under a partly cloudy sky. I'm John Herrick. This report is brought to you by Gutter Helmet. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Dry weather is only going to continue across Indiana over the next few days, and that is increasing the possibility of fires. There aren't any burn bans in effect yet.
But if anybody does do any burning outdoors at this time, they certainly should be taking extra caution to just make sure things are under control and never leave a fire unattended.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says there might be some rain this weekend, but he does not see any severe weather on the horizon. The Indiana Department of Correction wants nearly $16 million to modify the Miami Correctional Facility for a new federal partnership that's supposed to be discussed at tomorrow's State Budget Committee meeting. The money would pay for upgrades like new fencing and drone prevention systems to prepare the prison to house federal immigration detainees. The DOC says the federal government would reimburse the state for the costs. It's not a simple yes or no when it comes to Indiana backing new data centers. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Indiana will not trade good-paying jobs for flashy development, says Governor Mike Braun.
You got to abate many of these out of the gate to where they don't even get the benefit of local property tax revenue. It's got to be more balanced than what's come out of the gate.
Braun speaking with WIBC's Tony Katz.
Of course we want any investment to come here, but not if it's going to do things that have unintended consequences or doesn't make sense.
Braun says data centers tend to drive up water and electricity costs. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
And Braun spoke to Katz this morning. Indiana's Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith supports a sales tax moratorium on utility services due to rising costs, but he's facing opposition in the General Assembly. The state's 5 investor-owned utilities have increased rates, with Duke Energy customers seeing a 20% hike. In college football this Saturday night, 9th-ranked Illinois takes on 19th-ranked Indiana in Bloomington in front of a sold-out crowd at Memorial Stadium. Illinois head coach Brett Bielema says he's got great respect for Indiana.
This football team, offensively, defensively, and special teams, I think, are as well a coach as anybody will see. They definitely have complimentary football written all over it. Just the way they play, the way they talk, the way they communicate. Just very, very impressive group to watch overall. So we got our work cut out for us.
Kickoff between Indiana and Illinois is at 7:30 on Saturday, with pregame coverage starting at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 11:04, Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Pat Sullivan here for Gutter Helmet. Are you still putting screens on your gutters? You know, if the holes are too big, debris gets in, and you're still cleaning your gutters. If the holes are too small, it sits on top and screens. I have Gutter Helmet on my home, and it has no holes, slots, or screens. It keeps the debris out and the water in. Since 1981, Gutter Helmet has been America's #1 choice for gutter protection. Right now, Gutter Helmet is offering a 17% discount plus 12 months, no interest financing if paid in full within 12 months. Call 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, to schedule a free estimate. 17% off, restrictions apply, and cannot be combined with other offers. Call Gutter Helmet today at 800-5HELMET. That's 800-5HELMET, or gutterhelmetindy.com, and never clean your gutters again.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Split dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Okay, so you've read these quotes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the voice of reason on this program. So I always put it to you. Am I wrong in reading this and saying our lawmakers are just beyond ridiculous?
Well, I think they're really good at drawing attention to the problem. We all know what the issue is. However, I don't see a solution in any of these quotes.
Yeah, okay. What was it there? Was it Dave Mason that did the song We Just Disagree?
Yes.
There ain't no good guy.
There ain't no bad guy.
Your boyfriend, Billy Dean, does a cover of that.
It's only
Friend of
you
the
and
show.
me.
Yeah.
And we just disagree.
Friend of the show, Billy Dean. Yes, that's right. But I think Dave Mason was the original.
He was.
Right, on that. And like this article in the Indiana Capital Chronicle, I feel like that's what they just should have titled it. There ain't no good guy. There ain't no good guy. There ain't no bad guy. Well, there's plenty. It should be, there ain't no good guy. There's plenty of bad guys. There's only you and me, and I'm just getting screwed. That should be the title of the article.
Maybe we could get in the studio and rework that.
Should have been a headline writer, right?
Yeah.
So this article.
Is that SEO friendly? I don't know.
This article is about how the Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is calling for a repeal or a moratorium or whatever on sales tax paid on your utility bill.
Correct.
So if you look at your utility bill, you'll see all these things that you have no idea what they are, and then you'll see the
7%.
Have you ever actually looked at your utility bill, or do you just pay it? Have you ever tried to actually read through it and understand it?
Actually, no, I just pay it.
Yeah, see, this is why. This is how you're no offense.
I have to find that account number and then enter that in, and then I just, it went up again.
No offense, because I'm sure you're a wonderful human. I'd like to get to know you better, but you're part of the problem. Yeah, I mean, like if people
give me my cookies back,
it's all gone. If you do yourself a favor next time, whether it's your electric bill, gas bill, whatever, actually read the bill and where the charges, the service charge and the this fee and the that fee, like a fraction of it is actually, or portion of it is actually the actual stuff you use. There's all sorts of like bizarre things on there that I'm sure are just complete and utter, ridiculousness.
Usage fee.
One of the things that's part of it is you pay taxes on your utility bill. The 7% sales tax, you pay it on your utility bill. And a couple of years ago, in fact, I think it was when the abortion special session was going on, they actually cut a couple of taxes for the utility and the retailers who use the utility. And they tried to guise it as, it'll be saving you a bunch of money because they're just passing that on to you. Casey, what have the utility bills done the last 3 years?
Increased.
It turns out it saved them a bunch of money, them being the utilities and large users. It didn't save us any money. Isn't that a theme? Have you caught on a theme in the state of Indiana? If you're a big business, step right up. What? 100 million is enough for you? Can we give you 200 million? Like, there's never a limit if you're a big business, but if you're a regular person, eat crap and die. Anyway, so he being the lieutenant governor, has come out and said he believes there should be a repeal,
a moratorium on Indiana's 7% sales tax.
The problem is, and this is the equivalent of basically dining and dashing. It's the public policy equivalent of dining and dashing, in which the lieutenant governor is basically running into the restaurant, eating the meal, and then going, hey, somebody better pay for that. See ya. Because he's not telling you, because he doesn't know how much money does that generate, and what are you willing to do less of, or what are you proposing we do with less of if you're going to cut this tax? Look, I'm all in agreement. Remember, I was the guy who proposed the Indiana Doge, who said, I'll find you in 6 months $2.5 billion worth of savings, and I'll do it if you agree to give it all back to the taxpayers, right? So, but they don't ever do this. He doesn't do this. Most of these politicians don't ever do this. It's like they're just drive-by politicians. Hey, we should suspend the sales tax on utility. Great idea. What are you going to cut? Hey, we should suspend the sales tax on utility.
Well, I do think it's good that he's using his platform to bring more light to the problem. He said people are shouting about this issue more than any other issue right now as I travel the state.
Wait, time out. We heard this from him and Braun last year, the governor, on property taxes, right?
And look what
happened. And what did it get us? So I don't want to hear any more about this is the most heard about issue, or the issue I hear the most about, because we were right in this same place last year where they were coming on our program talking about how it's the most heard about issue, or the thing I hear the most about. And then remember, they tried to go, no. It was only in central Indiana we heard the most. Remember, they tried that when the property tax thing failed, that they were like, well, we didn't hear enough outside of central Indiana. But you just kept coming on our show saying this was the most thing you heard the most about. But no, it's just in central Indiana. You guys didn't do enough in the rest of the state. So, point on all of this. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we need one monkey in, one monkey out? Isn't that the rule? You don't walk into your boss's office and say, I've got an issue. You walk into your boss's office and say, hey, I have this problem. Here's my solution. What do you think? Or if you're going to walk into my office with a monkey, guess what? Take one out.
Yeah, and the problem with this is then it gives room for dumbasses like Jeff Thompson, the head of Ways and Means, and Travis Holdman, who is his equivalent in the Senate, the tax and fiscal policy guy in the Senate, to say the stupid stuff that they said in the Indiana Capitol Chronicle piece. And look, they acknowledge, Thompson, the head of Ways and Means in the House, who wrote the disastrous Senate Bill 1, the property tax bill, he acknowledges here in this quote that the taxes are unjust, right? Quote, Once you start down that path, he's talking about repealing the sales tax on utilities.
Right.
I can think of a whole lot of things we should not be doing sales tax on.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Keep going.
Problem solved.
I'm listening.
And the list just is getting longer as I sit here, and longer and longer. Okay, great.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? And the answer is nothing.
Oh.
So you've acknowledged right there that all these sales tax, you can think of all these sales tax that are totally unjust. Because, right, you can't shop your utility. You can't do without your utility. It's not a sales tax on something that's a luxury. It's a sales tax on something you have to have, and you have no recourse in terms of who's providing that and what you have to pay.
He went on to say, where do you draw that line? That's the ongoing discussion. But
Travis Holdman, who is the head of now remember, Holdman,
he chairs the Senate's Tax and Fiscal Policy Committee.
But time out, we got to point this out about this guy. This is the same guy who, remember when Daniel Elliott was the state treasurer was trying to get to change the law to allow local governments more flexibility in how they invest their money to create more revenue to offset, because there's all sorts of restrictions right now on your local governments on how they invest their money, that they're not able to get the returns they should be getting from their savings accounts because of restrictions put on them by the General Assembly. And so Daniel Elliott, the state treasurer, came out during the session and said, hey, this is kind of ridiculous. We should let the local governments have the flexibility we at the state have and get a better rate of return.
Right.
And then it came out that Travis Holdman is a consultant for the banking industry who makes big money off the banking industry, put the kibosh on that because it was going to affect his banking buddies who basically currently or did have sort of a monopoly on how this whole thing works, and it benefits them. So I just wanted to
remind everybody who
we're dealing with here and who our elected officials are. Would you like to read his quote when the lieutenant governor said, hey, maybe we should give a moratorium on the sales tax?
Yeah, in regards to the moratorium on Indiana's 7% sales tax for utility services, Senator Travis Holdman said, I just dismissed the discussion, to be honest with you.
It's just not doable.
I just dismiss it. Me don't want to hear it.
Now, if it were something affecting his banking buddies or his banking clients,
he'd be all over it.
He'd move heaven and earth to take care of that. But if it comes to you being able to afford to keep your lights on, I just dismissed the discussion, to be honest with you.
He said it would be a temporary Band-Aid on the situation. Do you remember back in 2000 when Governor O'Bannon suspended the gas tax during a price hike?
Well, I was in high school, Case, so I got to be honest with you. I wasn't paying attention to my state government nearly the way I am. However, a history book has told me.
You didn't come out of the cradle like this?
Well, I came out of the cradle hating government and taxes, but when I was 16, I was not capable of processing how it all worked and went together. But I do know history books have told me that indeed the gas tax was suspended in the year 2000.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of these increases. Average monthly bills across the great state of Indiana, they have risen significantly. Duke Energy up 20%, AES Indiana 12%, Indiana Michigan Power 3%, CenterPoint Energy 25%, and NIPSCO 27%.
Yeah, and again, our friends at the Indiana Capital Chronicle, they have a big piece on all of this if you'd like to read specifically for yourself how much Travis Holdman and Jeff Thompson actually hate you.
So the Lieutenant Governor, Micah Beckwith, said that he's heard some strong public demand for relief, and he's building a legislative coalition. And he's using his big platform to increase public pressure. Hey, I say go for it. Use it for something good, right?
Okay, great. Yeah.
Let's see if he can get something done.
This was the same guy when I was begging him to connect me with the senators during the property tax. He's like, we got it under control, man. They're just worried about coming on your show because it might offend some people. Because I think he used the term coalition then, too, that he was building then. So hopefully the coalition for the utility bill sales tax repeal goes better than the coalition did for the property tax bill.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Sun's up. The coffee is brewing. And Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct, and what a deal going on right now with Universal Windows Direct. And we're just talking about how these utility bills keep going up. One of the ways you can try to keep them at bay is by making sure you have efficient windows in your home. And now's the time to do it with Universal Windows Direct, because I don't know if you know this, winter is right around the corner. So listen to this deal with Universal Windows Direct. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. There's no limit. Whether you need 4 or 14, you only pay for half. Then on top of that, you're going to get 0% financing for 3 years. So no interest, no pressure. And last but certainly not least, $500 off your entire home improvement project. So listen to this. Let's repeat. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no limit. 0% financing for 3 years. And $500 off your entire home improvement project. Now, to schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today. 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com, universalwindowsdirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. There you go. Hey, when you were a music disc jockey, did they ever tell you, like, as a program director, to cut those low intros off?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We worked for that same.
Cue it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because the average person can't hear it and they think there's dead air.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
See how I covered that, though? Mm-hmm. Saying wait for it. People are like, wait for what? Wait for what? It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. All right, so Large Marge is making a proposal, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes, she is again advocating for a national divorce between red and blue state.
Okay, so Marjorie Taylor Greene is an outspoken, flamboyant, shall we say, CrossFit-obsessed U.S. rep from the state of Georgia, right? Is she still into the CrossFit? That was her big thing for a while. Anyway.
I believe so. She put out a video recently.
Yeah, they're always putting out videos. Okay, so my question on this is, and I feel like maybe I shouldn't even be taking the bait. I shouldn't even be following up with this. But, we're talk radio, right? That's what we do. We have interesting discussions. What does a national divorce even mean? How are you theoretic? What? Are we going to divide the United States of America into 2 countries? How does that work?
Yeah, her proposal includes separation by red and blue states and shrinking the federal government. And now, that doesn't sound so bad, shrinking the federal government. She said that there's nothing left to talk about with the left. They hate us. And polling says that a national divorce idea is actually somewhat popular.
Okay, but
how do you execute it?
Well, right. This is my point. Are you just going to simply say then California can be its own country?
California's blue and...
But because
New York is blue.
It's really easy to say that, but then you factor in the things that come into the state of California that are then disseminated to the entire rest of the nation, the harbors, et cetera. That doesn't, from a national defense perspective, you desperately need the state of California.
I wonder if she means this in regards to federal funding from Congress, based on whoever has the majority in office, whoever has the purse strings gets to determine that, all the money's going to go to the red states. Sorry, blue states, you didn't win this time.
So you pay taxes, but you get literally nothing in return.
Yeah.
No, but this is the point. This is another asinine statement that these people make because it gets clicks and it gets likes and it gets whatever, rather than, look, we are a divided country. And you and I were having this conversation yesterday, and we had it with our bosses. I don't feel like you can even have a rational conversation anymore.
Because there's no one in the middle?
Right. And to me, the approach in the middle as it relates to the Charlie Kirk assassination is, hey, if you're going to be gross and you're going to post online bragging about Charlie Kirk's death, fair game that you can get canceled. Fair game you can get fired. Fair game your employer can get contacted, and then there are ramifications for that. I don't have any sympathy for you with that. But also being a person in the middle, I say that it's equally as gross if these politicians are going to use Charlie Kirk's death for their political benefit, see Jim Banks using Charlie Kirk's death as some rallying cry to put another Jefferson Shreve and Jennifer Ruth Green type person in the United States Congress. To me, that's being a reasonable person in the middle to say the left side, totally gross. If you're going to brag or cheer or whatever about some guy's death, you deserve to be canceled. Hope you do. And also I can say that I'm calling out the right when they're the people on the right who are trying to use Charlie Kirk's death for their own political agenda.
Yeah, I understand that, but I also want to add the point, though, that Charlie Kirk was in favor of redistricting. So it's not like he's using his name for something completely irrelevant that Charlie Kirk wasn't speaking out on.
Yeah, but Jim Banks is using Charlie Kirk's death to try to get people who wouldn't do it in Charlie Kirk's life to do something. When he says they killed, everybody knows exactly what Jim Banks is trying to do when he says they killed Charlie Kirk. As though some way putting another Jefferson Shreve and Jennifer Ruth Green type person or Jefferson Shreve and Aaron Houchin type person in the Congress is somehow going to get us equal for Charlie Kirk being tragically murdered. Like that is equally as disgusting in my mind. Yet you can't be the person logical anymore. And my point in all this is there's tons of liberal people out there who are not violent whatsoever.
Correct.
The overwhelming majority of our country, we're a country of more than 330 million people. These acts, while they're becoming more common, are very rare when you actually factor in we're a country of 330 plus million people. It's why they're so shocking, because we are a, by and large, relatively peaceful country. Now, of course, in these major metropolitan cities, is violence out of control? Yes, but most of that is black on black violence. That's not conservative activists getting gunned down. Should it be dealt with? Absolutely. Is Indianapolis failing? Absolutely. Is Joe Hogsett failing? Absolutely. But we try to paint everybody with this broad brush, and what that does when you hear things like they killed Charlie Kirk. Well, okay, but now you're alienating the very people you're going to need in order to solve the problem and try to unite the country for what, on an individual by individual basis, is a very small issue, which is people committing acts of political violence relative to a country of 330 million plus people.
Speaking of those acts of violence, the suspect in the killing of Charlie Kirk appeared to confess in a private Discord chat before he turned himself in. He had posted, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this."
Now, again, this dates back to really the foundation of the country, but let's just start at the days of Abraham Lincoln. How many times in our nation's history have we seen people behave in a completely unacceptable, abhorrent fashion in the name of some bizarre political belief system? Like dating all the way back to John Wilkes Booth and the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Hey, buddy, war's over. Doesn't matter what you do now. North won. Deal with it, right? But in some warped, bizarro mind, he was going to be some beloved hero for taking out Abraham Lincoln. And the country was like, no, we kind of want to come back together, or many people in the country anyway. So my point on all of this is that when you see someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying a national divorce, no, there's always has been, and there always are going to be different ideologies, different ideological belief systems. And I encourage people, as long as you don't bring your politics with you, to get out of those leftist states, to get out of places like Illinois, get out of California. Problem is they bring the ideologies with them. They bring the stuff that they were fleeing with them. I don't want any part of that. But the point is, we're going to have Democrat states. We're going to have Republican states. And the answer is not to just carve up the United States of America, which isn't going to happen anyway from a pure logistical perspective.
No, but I believe she's talking more about carving it up with federal funding.
But that's also equally ridiculous. All of these people who pay federal taxes deserve some level of federal service. I mean, what do you like? Okay, New Mexico was a blue state this time, right? Are we going to just concede New Mexico and the southern border that it controls?
Punish everybody there, even if they're peaceful, loving people?
Well, you're not going to give that up for any reason. These people are, my point is they are ridiculous when they say stuff like this. It's not a viable solution. It's not a viable statement. It's not a viable alternative. And we should just dismiss it out of hand. But they say it for the clicks. They say it for the likes. They say it for the attention.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
The kids are heading back to school, and let's be honest, you're finally getting the house to yourself again, which makes now the perfect time to take care of that roof, siding, or gutters you've been putting off. And Moss Roofing is here to help. Moss Roofing has been helping Central Indiana homeowners for 34 years. They're family-owned, locally rooted, and known for doing things right every shingle time. Free inspections, honest advice, and top-quality work on roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. They treat your home like it's their own, and they clean up like they were never there. That's why they've got great reviews and a loyal following of happy homeowners. So don't put it off any longer. Let Moss Roofing check your roof, your siding, and your gutters to make sure they're ready for the winter ahead. For your free inspection, call 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says a special session on redistricting is growing more and more likely. I'm Sean Herrick. This report is brought to you by Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 11:30. That's what Indiana Governor Mike Braun said this morning. He says he still wants to wait until he gets a clear signal from Republicans on whether they want him to call a special session. More state lawmakers who were previously against redistricting now say they support it. Braun also spoke to WIBC's Tony Katz this morning about data centers and the dilemma they could cause.
Of course we want any investment to come here, but not if it's going to do things that have unintended consequences or doesn't make sense.
He pointed out that in rural counties where assessed value is often limited, data centers can help expand the tax base. President Trump and his wife Melania are heading to the UK for a visit today. They will return on Thursday. I'm Sean Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
As proud sports medicine partners of the Indianapolis Indians, Butler University, Purdue University, and the Indiana Sports Corporation, Franciscan Health is here to keep our community moving. Whether you're a weekend warrior or high school champ, we offer injury evaluations, concussion testing, and personalized recovery plans to help you get back out there. Because when you love the game, we love getting you back in it. Call 317-781-1133 or visit franciscanhealth.org/sportsmedindy.
America respects our first responders and veterans, the brave whose business is taking action when calamity strikes. It's dangerous work, often surrounded by sirens, shouting, even gunfire, so hearing loss is probable. First responders can turn to Relay Indiana. If you have trouble hearing on the telephone, visit RelayIndiana.com for voice recognition technology phones that allow the hearing impaired to have normal phone conversations. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Get clarity back on the phone. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
At Duke Energy, we're making Indiana's energy grid stronger and more resilient, ready for storms and growing energy demands. We're adding more power to the Indiana grid. We're using new innovations and smart technology to restore outages faster. And we're doing it all in cost-efficient ways to keep bills as low as possible while we serve you with reliable energy. Duke Energy, building a smarter energy future. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T.
The testosterone booster?
Yes, it really works. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with Nugenix Total T, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference in the bedroom. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text HEFTY to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's HEFTY to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor. Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Great news.
Yeah, what's that?
The Pope agrees with us.
Yeah, he is sounding the alarm over the growing wealth inequality between CEOs and their workers.
Okay, so obviously it's a short sample size, but I will say thus far, this Pope seems to be very aware of how the previous popes, plural, took stances on things that alienated swaths of the church from a political perspective. And he seems to be, again, very short sample size, but he seems to be more aware of saying and talking about things that I think the public at large can get
connect with.
Yes, connect with. Thank you. That's the perfect thing to say. So, so Leo, what is he? Leo the 14th.
Correct.
That is his now chosen pope name. He was doing, Yahoo has the article, but he was doing an interview with Catholic Crux. Yeah, Catholic news site. Now, you are the residential Catholic expert of the Kendall and Casey show. Are they some sort of big deal in the Catholic? Do you have a subscription to Crux?
No, I do not.
Magazine? All right.
I do not.
Well, anyway, he was talking about Elon Musk specifically and the idea that within years' time, years plural, but who knows, Elon Musk could become the world's first trillionaire.
Yeah, he was specifically calling out Elon Musk, and he cited his projected $1 trillion Tesla pay package as symbolism of excessive wealth concentration. He warned that if wealth is the only thing valued, the world is in big trouble.
And he also touched on what we have talked about on this program, which I am a capitalist. I believe in the ability, by legal means, I'm not a person who has ever, I'm a complete minimalist. So other people having stuff has never bothered me, and I've never believed I'm entitled to anybody's stuff. So I say this as a complete capitalist, that when the wealth divide reaches a certain level in countries, if you look at the history of countries throughout the world, throughout the history of the world, countries, when the wealth divide reaches a certain level, and the wealth divide comes at the expense of a shrinking middle class, both in size and power, you start to see oftentimes bad things happen in those countries, both bad in the sense of the status of the country, but also in terms of how people handle and deal with that in the countries. And I think that's what he was speaking to when he said, look, and this is right. Hey, 60 years ago, CEOs were making 4 to 6 times what the workers were receiving. Now it's 600 plus times in many cases. And that, when you see the tippy top continue to elevate while the middle class continues to shrink both in power and in size, you are not setting up countries that are sustainable, and you're not setting up countries that are going to be able to avoid things like revolutions. Look at the human history. That's just how it operates.
So Elon Musk, he recently purchased $1 billion in Tesla stock. It was his largest buy ever. But the Pope Leo, went on, and he was using data from the Institute for Policy Studies. He said the average CEO pay among low-wage S&P 500 firms is $17.2 million, whereas the median worker pay is just $35,000. So the CEO to worker pay ratio is 632 to 1.
Yeah, and so the question becomes, how do we get back to an economy that is elevating people in the middle class? How do we return the structure of our economics to where middle class people feel hope in their journey to work each day? Because that is the sense I get from people in our economy, is a sense of hopelessness. That no matter what I do, even though I'm trying to do things the right way. Somebody made a great point about this yesterday. I saw on Facebook that for the people who are calling for the cancellation of the Charlie Kirk people, like to be fired or whatever, that's okay. But remember, you're doing it with people who already are inclined to believe in and have sympathy to a welfare state. So what you're doing by firing or dismissing those people is you're now adding them into the roles. And I saw that, I thought that's actually a pretty interesting way to look at it. Look, you can lament these people all you want, and you can call for their firing, and you can badger their bosses, and you can do all of that. And as I've said earlier, I don't have any sympathy for the people who are getting that done to them, because you made the decision to put that out on social media where everybody can consume it. You wanted to be seen, you got seen, FAFO, right? Frick around, find out.
Find out.
Yeah. But the ramification of that is when these people get fired, it's not like in many cases you're dealing with people that are like, hey, I made a horrible mistake. I got to really learn from my lesson here. Get right back on the wagon and start applying for jobs. You're looking at people that'll probably be wards of the state, for lack of a better term, for a period of time, right? So point of all this is we do not have an economic climate right now or an economic structure in this country that is giving most people a sense of hope in terms of my hard work is going to benefit me and is going to pay off. And until you figure out a way to create that, you're just going to see people slip further into despair. You're going to see a further sense of hopelessness. And eventually there becomes tipping points in countries like that, especially when you see the tippy top people. We're not all sinking together. Many people are rising and rising like never before, but you don't have any path to that.
Well, I think the interesting part about this is you've heard over the years, learn new skills. You have to keep updated with your skills so that you can advance. So if I consider my current place in the past 25 years, have I advanced my skills? Absolutely. Have I learned new things in this industry? Yes. Do I make more than I ever have before in my career? No. No, I don't, in fact.
My wife and I had this conversation. We have it on the regular because she's very young in her career. I mean, she's in her mid-20s, and she this is really her. I mean, she worked here as an intern. She was in IT, and I mean, it was a paying job, right? It's not like it used to be where you're a shoe cobbler apprentice or whatever. But then she went to work for the state of Indiana for a period of years. She was completely miserable because she saw how ineffective and inefficient it was. And so she ended up going to a major corporation. She works for a very, very large, successful corporation in cybersecurity. But my point is, this is her first corporate foray into corporate America. And so she's seeing things all the time that it's like that meme of the guy with the noose around his neck. Oh, first time, you know, right? And so she will express these things to me, and I will tell her, well, look, this is what you're experiencing is not different. It's not new. It is to you,
right?
Because you've never been through it before. But to us grizzled veterans over here, welcome to the party, pal. And part of that is that she has a skill set that is in demand. She has a skill set that is the future of this country. People like her are the people that will survive the AI holocaust that we're about to all, endure from a, white collar worker perspective, because she knows how to deal in that world. And I've tried to relay to her that you need to, like, people like us, it's all over for us when it's all over here. We're going to go work at Wendy's, right? Or Arby's or whatever. You are in a position where you still have optimism of ascent in terms of your career path. But a lot of people do not have that same optimism. As many issues or experiences as you may struggle with in corporate America, you are in demand. If for some reason they were to let you go from your job here, there would be 10 people who would try to gobble you up because of the skill set you have. Us?
Yeah.
Hey, remember those guys? They used to be on the radio.
I don't. So there have been many billionaires. Do you remember the Giving Pledge?
Who?
The Giving
It's
Pledge?
like the Giving Tree. That's
it's similar.
Me. That's me 9 to noon every day. Come, boy, take of my apples.
By the way, I quoted that to my brother when I recently saw him. I said, like the Giving Tree. He had no idea what I was talking about.
Wait, what?
The Shel Silverstein book? Yeah, I had to pull it up on the internet.
Well, I know it. Yes, your brother didn't know.
No, he didn't know it.
Your mother didn't read that to you as kids?
Apparently not. Apparently not.
No kidding.
Yeah. But the Giving Pledge was this promise that a lot of millionaires got behind. It was launched by Warren Buffett and also Bill and Melinda Gates. And they said that they would give away 50% of their wealth, right? So out of the 256 people who signed that Giving Pledge, only 9 have fulfilled their commitment.
It's like those guys.
I'll do this. Sure, I'll get to it.
It's like these guys who sign the no new tax pledge thing.
And then write laws for new taxes. About 80% of the people who have fulfilled their pledge to the Giving Pledge went into private foundations instead of charitable causes. Pope Leo, by the way, he does earn a salary. Any idea what he gets paid?
Oh, man. Now, this doesn't include the bennies or anything, right? This is just a straight cash
I don't
draw.
believe so, and I do believe that, like, his living quarters, that's part of the deal,
I will say $100,000.
A little higher. Kevin, you have a guess?
Well, now you've already rigged it for him. All he's got to do is $100,001.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with $102,000.
Okay. Yeah, you're both wrong. Pope Leo earns an estimated $400,000 a year salary.
What?
Similar
I
to
thought it was a vow of poverty. What are you Catholics doing?
similar
I thought that was
to
the whole
U.S.
point.
presidents and also top university chancellors.
I thought, what happened to the vow of poverty? Oh, so this guy's going to lecture anybody about making money?
It's not close to $1 trillion like
No,
Elon
but
Musk.
he ain't wondering where his next meal's coming from.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, updates on Charlie Kirk's assassination and the Attorney General Pam Bondi with the big blunder. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Hey, do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years. Here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000, right?
That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in that first year. So by year's end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120, or visit yourretirementguy.com.
Hey, guys, it's Rob. We're just 2 days away. That's right. It's Tuesday. Thursday is 2 days away. September the 18th, there's an incredible event going on at Lucas Estates that you're invited to be a part of, and it's totally free. We've told you all about it. It's the Hope Starts Here breakfast to benefit Project Rescue. You know, we love Project Rescue, giving my own time and money to help Project Rescue. And in fact, all of our I Hate and I Love Rob Kendall t-shirt proceeds, all my proceeds go to Project Rescue. That group exists to stamp out human sex trafficking across the globe. And this year, as in previous years, they're partnering with our friends at Life Church for the Hope Starts Here breakfast. It's September 18th at the Lucas Estates. Oh, yeah, Prime 47. They're doing the catering. And there is no charge to it, but your life, it will be changed. It's totally free to attend, totally free to register. All you got to do, log on to lifechurchin.com.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wealth Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Catch Emmer and Nigel live from the Fall Home and Outdoor Living Show this Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Grand Park Events Center in Westfield. They'll be checking out over 200 vendors, home displays, and all the fun happening at the show.
Okay, I have a very important question for you to wrap up our program today.
Okay.
It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. What do we even do in here?
Wait, can you be more specific?
Well,
do you mean like here in the studio, here on the radio, here in Indiana, as humans on Earth? Like, what are you talking about?
So once a year, I do a little exercise with myself. It takes me several weeks to get through it, but I go back and I watch every episode of the television show The Shield.
Okay.
It's a phenomenal cop drama that was on FX in the 2000s. They're about these. The show is about they're corrupt yet phenomenal cops in Los Angeles. And they are great at catching the bad guys, yet they are awful guys themselves.
Yeah.
And there's this constant struggle between being bad themselves and dealing with the worst of the worst and the hypocrisy in which how they judge and arrest these people, right? And towards the end of the show, one of the cops is talking to one of the other guys about the main guy. Michael Chiklis played Vic Mackey, who's the main character. And two of his sort of lieutenant guys are having this conversation about Vic's quest to catch this Mexican mobster and expose him. And they're talking about, do we deal with this? Is the risk worth the reward? And the one guy says to the other guy, and it's Walton Goggins, who actually has become a very famous actor. He says to his other partner, he goes, what difference does it make? Vic thinks he's going to somehow save the world by taking this guy down. We all know it's just going to be another scumbag to take his place that we'll have to deal with. So why are we risking this? And I'm watching this yesterday, and I was like, that's us, except without the crime and corruption.
Right. Well,
that we are like I feel like I am Vic. Like, am I just on some meaningless quest when no matter how many of these people we expose or how many of them we show the world, that there's just going to be some other schemer, scammer, or whatever take the place, that we're never actually going to fix the thing.
I think what happens is we tend to overcorrect. That's what happens in the country. Because what are we even doing here? You like to rail on Republicans. Do you notice that you do that?
Well, somebody sent this on Twitter. It's like, but I feel like we hate all these people. He said, Rob Kendall should move over to NBC or The View. I'm sure he would have a lot of good listeners there. Pick a side, Kendall. If the listeners want to hear Republican bashing, all they have to do is turn on CNN, and guess what?
Yeah.
So we're not supposed to point out you're so wed to sides, even though you've been screwed by one side over and over and over again. You're so wed to that us telling you, I mean, what will we even talk about as it relates to state government here? There are no Democrats in charge of anything. What are we supposed to rip on them about? Most of these suburbs are totally controlled by Republicans. What are we supposed to talk about?
Well, that's true. I think a lot of people, when they think about politics, they frame it on a national level. And if you were to rewind where you were 2 years ago with Biden in the office, you were saying how awful he was and open borders and everything that was going on with the ideology. And you couldn't wait to make a change and get somebody else in office. Maybe at the time you were hoping it was DeSantis. Turned out to be Trump, but at least you knew on a social level things were going to head more to the conservative direction. Now, when you look at a state level, they've had the supermajority for a while.
Right, but do we check our ability to hold people accountable? Look, you had two choices for president. Obviously, the first choice was totally unacceptable in Kamala. So I guess we'll take a flyer that Trump can get it together this time. And so areas where he's done well, like the border, we give him credit for that. But am I supposed to not? Am I supposed to be just a total team player to the sense where I see things that are not good for the country, that I'm not supposed to call those out? So I don't know. I was thinking that yesterday. It was like, have I just become that character where I'm such an idealist that ain't gonna make no difference because the next sleaze bag in there is gonna be just as bad or worse than
Just
the
get
one
in line.
we're trying to flush out.
Yeah, possibly.
Uplifting way to end the show, Casey. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Caleb and Kevin, and thank you for listening. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of four over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently